What's happening, everybody? Happy Monday. We have arrived. We are here for another one. Episode 10. Yes, double digits. Episode 10 of
Yep.
Coffee and Pods with BF and Stormy. I went back and checked, Stormy. It is 10 episodes. We are officially at double digits. Good morning. Got our boy Scott here joining us today. He's constantly doing tech work. He's got a light on or something going here. I don't know what he's got going on yet, but
Yeah, I got a lighting problem.
you got a lighting problem? That's your only problem, huh? Very good.
Stayed
How you
up
doing
late
today?
watching men and fighting everywhere.
And every time you move a light or a microphone, dude, it changes everything you have to do. How you doing today?
I'm doing all right. Got a hangover
very
from
good.
watching men fighting in their underwear with you. You and Andrew.
You need to clear that up a little bit, bro. It sounds a little homoerotic or something. Men fighting in their underwear. All right, so we were watching Andrew and Cody in his room. No big deal. No, actually, what Scott is alluding to is he and myself and Andrew kind of got together last night and watched the AEW pay-per-view. We watched that. So that's the men in underwear you're talking about. At least that's what I'm going with, Scott. That's the men I'm going with.
That's it. I was watching Andrew.
Watching Andrew. He's your favorite habit. Well, it's the Monday midday. If you're having lunch or you're with us, we appreciate you being here with us today. All right. Yeah, so we watched that wrestling last night. So you kind of got a little quick turnaround, huh? Had to wake up real quick.
Yep. I just got it 30 minutes ago.
Oh, wow. That was fun. Yeah. It was fun hanging out, though. Our boy Andrew. Shout out, Andrew. We might have a couple clips for Andrew to share with you this afternoon. But, yeah, that was fun hanging out. We watched the AEW, and it's like Scott says, it's fun just hanging out with Andrew. Just kind of watching him enjoy the wrestling, even if you're not into it. Right, Scott?
Yeah, but when he starts watching that wrestling, though, he's pretty well zoned on that. You ain't going to get no crate. And it's fun. He's in that wrestling.
Yeah, I wish we could get that focus on the show when he's doing Sports Heads every Friday at 7:30. Take that banner down with the date. You can see clearly that today's date is March the 10th, 2023. So March the 10th. Did I write the 10th? March 6th. I can't read what I'm writing down. I don't know why. I have this thing, and I see one thing, and I say something totally opposite. So I don't know.
Too.
Jesus, what the hell's going on with me? But at any rate, let's see. Check out a couple. See if we can get comments left. No comments yet. We got a couple 2 people in the live feed. Good morning and welcome. Good afternoon, we should say. All right, well, let's get the day and the show started like we used to. We like to just BS and hang out and talk about our day and get the week started. Who's got their coffee yet? Gang coffee? Actual coffee?
I already drank some. I got water now.
Yeah, it's cold in the air. It's a little. We used to do the show at 10, and that was a little more suitable for coffee, but I'll stretch it to noon. I got some water to back me up. But
I still drink coffee later in the morning sometimes, though. So.
Do you? When I first got the Keurig machine and I could make coffee anytime I wanted to without having to go through all the grinds, I was making myself cups at late at night just because I could,
Yeah.
Because it wasn't any trouble. I'm like, I don't even want this because it's so damn easy. I'm gonna do this right now. So
I've done that.
So that's cool. All right, well, let's talk about.
I woke up without any cigarettes. I got no cigarettes. Got the no cigarettes grouchy.
Yeah, cigarettes are your coffee, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, some people need that. Some people need both, actually. Yeah. All right. Well, we're getting here. We're gonna be close to changing the clocks pretty soon. Hopefully, the daylight savings time is going to start kicking in. We're going to gain that extra hour of daylight. I like that. How y'all feel about changing the clocks back and forth?
I'm okay with it.
I wish they just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. Leave it alone. What way? But yeah, because as much daylight as possible, I enjoy. But you can see here, cold. We still got under the grips of some cold here in America. You see all that blue, a little bit of yellow down there. So look at whatever part of the country you're in. I know some of our friends are out west, out this way. It's in the 30s. I'm over here. It's like mid 30s, mid 40s on the East Coast here. And how about where you guys are at? How's it today?
It was about 65 whenever I came in earlier this morning, and I went back out, and it's a little warmer, actually.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
We just went through that. We had like a warm spell go through here, but then it's gotten cold again. But yeah, I've had enough of the back and forth. I'm ready for spring and ready for summer to come for sure.
Yeah. I just wanna get through the flooding and rain part, and then I'm good.
Yeah, that was something how you showed us that video on Friday, how you have to drive
Mhm.
through that. How often does that happen to you where you gotta drive through weather like that?
This time of year, it's at least once or twice a week. But,
Wow, so you just
yeah,
go out.
and dad and I only live, what, 30, 45 minutes apart, and it
Yep.
doesn't do that over there in that
Mhm.
area, I mean, that I know of, like it does here at all.
Wow. So, basically every week you can go out a day or 2 and suspect that you might have
Mhm.
to drive through, like, mysterious flood conditions where you don't know if you're gonna make it out the other side, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, that is something. Alright. Well, hope you get through that and we get through that past that flood season,
Me
get to
too.
the better weather real soon. Alright, and, here's some of the forecasted highs for today, right here. You can see it, they're forecasting the 60s over here on the East Coast. I can see them 50s and all creeping up your way. The 50s. Look at the
Mhm.
70s right here in the middle. St. Louis, Cincinnati, Memphis, Tennessee, Oklahoma. It's all in this. It's 70s, and of course 80s in Texas. But we're getting there. Spring is a coming. It is a
Yeah.
coming.
Yep.
Yep,
Says it's 71 outside here right now.
that's something.
Wow.
Yeah.
I ain't been outside yet.
Yeah. It's really
Biggest
sunny too, it's nice.
cool. Yeah, well, we had a nice episode. Was it episode 5 of the Sports Heads, I think, on the Shuli Network on
Yeah.
Friday. The Fridays at 7:30.
Time is flying by.
Yeah.
Time's
Time's
flying by.
flying by.
Yeah, when you live your life by episodes or by what? By the calendar? What are we talking about?
I guess did you say this was your 10th episode doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Time's just flying by. It don't seem like
That's
it's
what. Yeah,
been 10 episodes.
I know. Yep, 10 episodes. Well, we just decided, just out of our love of podcasts, to like gather here every Monday and talk about all of our favorite podcasts and comedians and stuff. And we do have a lot of stuff to talk about. I noticed Stormy's clip's a little longer this week, and there's probably more stuff going on than she could actually fit in there. So, like I've said before, I don't envy you trying to come up with what
Yeah.
videos to include in there. But
I kept trying to clip it down shorter, but with my internet trouble, I just let it go and just
mhm,
uploaded it.
yeah, it just seems like everybody we podcast and talk to, we're all just having these internet issues.
Yeah.
Something every day, but, let's see. Alright, so a couple of our national days. What we like to do here on Coffee and Pods, we like to check the national calendar and see, what national, holidays are special today, if they are. So today, National Dress Day, March 6th. Did you know that, Scott? I was gonna say
I
Stormy, but
wish
it's funnier to say
I
Scott.
wish I had known. I
Nation
wish I had known.
I don't think I own any dresses. I
Is
don't
that
wear
right?
dresses. Yeah.
I'm gonna go on the record and say I don't either. Okay, let's see. It's also, I 1 minute. Re
Oh, you
ref
skipped to tomorrow.
It refreshed on me, yeah. Okay, and then or I hit it accidentally. And it's also National Oreo Cookie Day. Oh, now that's something I can get behind more than National Dress Day. Look at that.
Yeah.
National Oreo Cookie Day. Be
My
ready.
husband puts his in his Oreos in his milk after he eats his cereal. I think it's the grossest thing to eat it that way,
Yeah,
but he does.
I don't either.
Okay, so, when he's done eating his cereal, he
Yeah.
grabs a couple of cookies, and with the remaining milk in his cereal, he
Yeah.
puts them. Wow, okay, that's an
It's
interesting way
weird.
to, utilize the milk. Now, I know a lot of people, it even says here, like, be ready to observe by having your glass of milk handy as it's National Oreo Cookie Day. I like Oreo cookies, but I've never been the kind I feel like I have to, like, dip them in the milk or whatever.
I like them
But
in milk, but I use a fork. I put a fork in the middle and stick it down in the milk.
wow, interesting. Everybody's got all these little systems going on for their Oreos.
Oh, it's
You
funny.
like milk
Like
and cookies?
double stuffed
Double
Oreos.
st
Double stuff. I liked how I literally read like a little Instagram article one time that said double stuffed Oreos are not actually double stuffed, and they were trying to actually like prove that they didn't have like twice as much cream as the original Oreos. I'm like,
Hmm.
boy, that's somebody that's really
I don't
into
like
their
that cream.
dessert.
I don't like that. I break that stuff off.
Yeah. I don't like
Yeah,
it as much as I do the dark part, but I'll still eat it if I have milk.
no, now everybody's got different game when it comes to that because yeah, like I think I haven't had them in a while, but I take them off. I take one of the cookies off and I'll kind of eat it, and then I scrape the the icing off, and then I eat the second cookie. That's my method for eating an Oreo cookie.
I think
I
that's
twist
more
mine
common
off,
though.
and I use the top side. I use one side to scrape the white stuff off the other one, and
That's
pull out what
funny.
stuff
Yeah.
is
So everybody, I think we'd be confused if somebody come up and says, "Yeah, I just put them in my mouth and eat them the way they come out of the package." That would be kind of weird. Everybody has like some kind of technique to eat Oreo cookies.
That's
But
funny.
that
I
is
think
funny.
about the Mayan calendar when I eat them too.
You think about the Mayan
It looks like a
calendar?
Mayan. Yeah, it looks
Yeah,
like the Mayan calendar.
Damn,
Cookie.
dude.
Uh,
the
I don't
top
know.
of
I
it.
can't talk about it. Yeah,
I just talking about
this is
like their sundial
the
calendar thing or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
Okay.
resembles the Mayan calendar.
Okay. All right.
I can
Let's
see that.
see.
I
Let's
guess
see.
I kept that one to myself.
Wait a minute. Just
No, I can see that.
keeps refreshing on me. Today is also National White Chocolate Cheesecake Day. Why I gotta be white? Why I gotta be white chocolate? Racist ass cheesecake. National White Chocolate Cheesecake Day on March 6th offers another way to celebrate one of our favorite desserts. Now, I'm a straight up cheesecake person. I like just regular cheesecake. I don't need no foo fancy cheesecake.
Yeah,
That's my
me
thing.
either. I don't
I
eat
like all the
cheesecake very
cheesecakes.
often though. He likes all of them.
You like all of them? You're not picky, huh? So if they sell that one in the fundraising like
Variety.
around here with all the different flavors in it, that's all you, huh?
Yeah, a couple wedges
Yep.
of all the.
Yes. Okay. Yep. Okay. I know what you're all about now. That's cool. Yeah, I like this regular old cheesecake. Sometimes when we've taken bus trips to New York to see certain shows or something, and I'll go to this place called Junior's up there. It's been there for a long time, and I get some of their cheesecake, some famous New York cheesecake. So, ah, this thing keeps refreshing to the 7th, and today is the 6th.
We have stuff here that's called New York cheesecake, but I don't think it's from New York.
Yeah, well, a lot of people put that New York symbol on it, and it's like, yeah, New York style. Maybe the way they bake it, it's not like it's like
Yeah.
a different kind of cream or whatever, but it might not be as well done as they do it in New York.
Mhm.
But yeah, I've had stuff that claimed to be New York cheesecake, and it wasn't quite it. All right, that's a funny one. National Frozen Foods Day. It's National Frozen. These are all today, by the way.
All about
So
food today.
all about food. I liked how the Oreo one went against. Like this says National Frozen Food Day recognizes the preservation feat that freezing fruits, vegetables, and meat have been on modern life. Celebrated each year on March 6th, the observance takes a look at how frozen foods impact our daily lives, its history, and how far it has come. So,
Well,
these are these days I got to celebrate. I got to get a bag of peas or something. Celebrate Frozen Food Day. But,
I guess we should appreciate having frozen food and the ability to freeze it, or else what would we eat through the winter and stuff?
I know. So we had Frozen Food Day, we have Dentist Day, or we have Cheesecake Day, we have Oreo Cookie Day, and we also have National Dentist Day to tie into it. How about that? So when you're done eating all that shit, you can brush your teeth. Let's see. March 6th sets aside a day for each of us to say thank you to the person who keeps our pearly whites. You imagine actually going into your dentist office and going, hey, I want to thank you. And they go, what are you talking about? What's National Dentist Day? Didn't you know? They probably don't know it either. All right. Let's
That's
see.
funny.
I
Well,
was
maybe
trying to
they do because like secretaries, they know because whenever I worked in the office, they used to have like Secretary's Day and they would
gotcha.
celebrate it in the office. So maybe dentists do that too.
Maybe. Yeah, I understand that too. Where my wife works, they had Secretary's Day, but now they've kind of since changed it, cleaned it up to National Administrative Assistance
Yeah.
Day.
Yep.
Because no secretary is kind of, I think it's supposed to be like a dated term, right?
Yeah.
Even though
Crazy.
technically an administrative assistant is essentially a secretary, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Pretty
can't
much.
say
Like a
that.
like a janitor is a custodian or something like that.
That's
Yeah.
right. Or a trash man is a sanitation engineer,
Yeah.
right? You're not a trash man. I am not a
Prostitute's
garbage
sex
man.
worker.
Was that a sex worker?
Yeah.
Let's see. Well,
You are watching Coffee and Pods with BF and Stormy.
yes, you certainly are. All right. I want to take a second here to do a little screen share for something that's coming up. I want to promote our friends. Pro events Tay Boogie and Chris Abels will be appearing at this comedy show Friday, March 17th. It's in West Virginia. It's called the Drunken Masters of Comedy. It's on St. Patrick's evening. As a matter of fact, it's on a Friday 17th, Drunken Masters of Comedy. right there. Date and time, 17th, 7:30 p.m. It's at Bad Habits Bar and Grill in Winchester Avenue, Martinsburg, West Virginia. So I just wanted to throw a plug out there real quick for them because that show will be coming up next Friday. So if you get a chance, if you're in the area, go out and see Chris Abels and our friend Tay Boogie. Shout out, boys. All right.
Be a good show.
So, yeah, that should be good. I'm looking forward to that.
You are watching.
Oh, I hit that already. Okay. All right, now, so we have a lot to talk about in your video package, Stormy. So I'm gonna get ready to share that. I'll just start rolling it and then we can start talking afterwards.
Yeah, just the beginning acknowledges that this past week Andrew had a birthday and that we
Yes.
celebrated that a little bit.
That's right. For those of you who didn't see us either last Thursday for Andrew's birthday show or Friday for the Sports Heads, it was Andrew's birthday. Our friend and co-host, shout out Andrew, turned 27 years old. So we did a special show for him on Thursday, and we kept the celebration going on Friday. And then now we're gonna see a little bit of that video. We're live, Andrew. We are live. It's the continuation of the Andrew Flora birthday celebration. Drive that car, Andrew. Drive it, bro. Drive the car, bro. Drive the car, bro. There it is. Happy birthday. That's right, y'all. Yesterday was Andrew's official birthday, but we're continuing the celebration tonight. Welcome to episode 5 of the Sports Heads on the Shuli Network. There you go. So that was cool. So yeah, we were celebrating his birthday, and so that was the opening of the Friday Sports Head. So I guess he had a good birthday.
Yeah, he seemed like he enjoyed it, and he's got his subscribers to where he wanted them at his goal, I guess.
He's all about them numbers.
He is. So I saw yesterday, was it Saturday or yesterday? I saw that he made 100 subscribers, and I shouted him out real quick. I was like, "Hey, bro, you made it!" So I know that was a big goal of his. If you get a chance, go out to youtube.com/Andrew Wheezy WIESE
Yep.
9324 WIESE 9324. If you get a chance, go ahead and subscribe to his page. So, matter of fact, let's put our little scroll up.
He wants to get on this show. Once you guys,
There it is, right there. I just put it in the scroll. So, if you love our boy Andrew, you can go ahead and check that out.
Yeah, he's at his day program usually about this time, though, isn't he? Or something.
Yes, he is. He's probably at his day program. I threw the link in our chat in case he's ever available during the day. He can always join us. But okay, let's continue with the video here. And then I noticed that the next part of this video, at the beginning of it, it had our friend Trey, who we had back, original member of the Shoes team.
Yeah, I just added the graphic on there so we could talk about how we had, him on there and how we appreciated him showing up.
Yeah, definitely. Let's just check it out. Boom.
And then it rolls into Levy Land.
Yeah, that was fun having Trey back. He had an issue, timing issue, getting home from work late. We had to stretch the show a little bit to get him there, but it kind of worked out. I thought it was a pretty good interview. I know it was mostly about NASCAR because that's kind of his field of expertise mostly, even though he likes a lot of sports. But I would like to have him back for a whole show where I can have his comments about everything as we discuss it. I think that would be a lot of fun. So hopefully we can work out that timing.
He's super nice. I've never met him before.
Mm-hmm.
The first podcast I did, he was the guest on it, and so it was a little bit of a reunion for me. I don't think he remembered me.
Yeah, but he's a real chill guy, easygoing. He knows a lot about sports just casually and on. So when I was thinking about guests for the show, I was like, "Oh, we got to get Trey back on here." So yeah, I'm kind of going back in my mind of all the kind of just the friends that we've had and maybe people we can bring back into the fold and all. So so I like the heading on the next part of this video. It says "Dead and Alive," and when we were watching this and when he riffed this live, I'm like, when I heard him start singing "Dead or Alive," I'm like, I think I know what he's going to say next, and he fucking did. And then this is an instant classic. So here's Bob Levy at his best. Check this out.
Bob is dead and alive. Play that video, Scott Joe. Let me tell you something. Here we go. On a fucking sea full I ride. I'm wanted. I'm dead and alive. I'm dead and alive. I'm wanted. I'm dead and alive. I'm dead and alive. I want Bon Jovi to switch the song. He's dead and alive. He's two things, and two things are better than one, and that makes me better than the rest. And that's why I am. You know what I mean? Bob would have been 105.
That was great when he did that. When they started saying that, I'm dead and alive. He's gonna say dead and alive. That was so funny, man.
Oh, I like how Chris and Rob joined in on the air guitar.
Yeah, me too. So I guess that clip was obviously from when they discussed him saying he was dead and alive. That was from one of his Out of the Coffins, right?
That was the Levy Land, the last Levy Land, I think, towards the end. Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
Maybe he was talking about being on Out of the Coffin, but at any rate, yeah.
Yeah, he was, but I clipped that one because it's just funny that they were doing the air guitar with him.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. And speaking about kind of Levy Land stuff or Rob Saw, we can I don't know. You don't have a clip in here about the little Rob Saul, the pop-up Rob Saul show by any chance?
I didn't know if it was okay to share it yet, so I didn't put it in there.
Okay, well, yeah, maybe we should have talked about. I mean, it's fine with me to share it, but yeah. So since we're talking about Levy Land and Rob Saul, I'll give you a little really good inside scoop in that. For those of you who may or may not be fans of Rob Saul or some of this stuff, last week, Rob Saul had an interview scheduled on the BYB podcast. We were still floating around trying to figure out what day of the week we're going to settle on as being his new regular day, because it used to be Tuesdays at 8:30. I found out, just like you all did, that Wednesday is going to be our permanent day now. Like, I found out on air. So he makes this proclamation on air on Levy Land about how from now on, Rob Saul's show is going to be on Wednesdays at 8:30. But tonight I'm going to do this interview on the BYB podcast. So after Levy Land goes off, I get a little ringy dingy on my phone, and it's our boy Chris Abel. Shout out Chris, and he says, "Hey BF, what you doing?" Nothing. What do you want? You want to do? Come on, you want to go on and do Rob's show? I'm like, he's doing BYB. He's like, yeah, I know. Let's go on, and then he'll realize that we're doing his show live on air, and I'm like, okay, bro. You know, I'm the newest one, so I'm gung ho, and I'm like, whoop, I'm always up for a good joke.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, hell yeah, let's do this, bro. So we did it. Rob is doing his interview on BYB podcast. We simulcast their interview. We go live on air, and then the whole point of it was to just watch Rob's reaction when he realized that his own show, like, why in the hell is my own show on the air? You know, I thought it was a funny, kind of harmless premise. Well, so we went ahead and did it. Rob realizes it. We had a little back and forth where Chris Abels literally tries to call Bobby Nick, one of the guys on the show, and says, "Hey, come on, all you guys, come on the show and leave." It was I thought it was pretty hilarious, but Rob didn't think it was quite that funny, and literally killed the feed while we were live on air. He was doing his show, doing the BYB interview. We are on his channel, and he's sitting in his phone, and he literally took us off the air. So what did you guys think about that? I couldn't tell you guys that we were going on doing a surprise show. So what is your guys' take on how all that went down last week?
Hilarious. I thought it was. I think that Rob was being a party pooper, but I think it probably shocked him.
What about you, Scott?
He wanted to be surrounded with them guys, and you guys was taking his mind off his game.
That was funny. Shout out to them guys at BYB. We weren't trying to shit on their show or mess up their Rob Saul interview. We were just kind of like letting him know, like, hey, somebody's like on your channel, like doing your show. And we thought that would be good shock value to that. So
I can send you the link if you want to screen share it to the clips that I had organized, but I don't know if you can do that now or not.
Yeah, you could. If you put it in Messenger, at least it'll be most recent in my feed, and I won't have to dig back in the feed to find it, because I know it's in there somewhere.
Okay, there it is.
Okay, I thought I heard that. Okay, but yeah, so after we did that, Rob wasn't exactly very happy with Sean. Shout out Sean, the producer, and Chris Abels, and he's like literally like kicking people out of admin positions and I think he eliminated the show. I don't know if we can ever retrieve the show back, but from
I
what I
don't think
understand,
so.
yeah, I'm not 100% sure. Even if it is saved, I don't know if Rob went in there and erased it. I don't know the status of any of that. So we have just whatever clips we have at our disposal. So let me see what Stormy sent me, and I'll try to screen share this with you right now. Yeah, here we go. This is that, right. This is that clip package that I had 2 clips from the BYB broadcast that weren't eliminated, and I sent them to Stormy, and she made a little package out of it.
Yeah, we
Here,
can at least watch it from their perspective.
right. So that's what you'll be seeing. You'll be seeing, yeah, this is the BYB feed. We clip that, and you'll see some of the stuff going down.
I thought it was my friend.
No, he's yelling it. He's yelling it.
And of course, he doesn't want to play.
Rob's in heaven right now, surrounded by all them men.
Mm-hmm.
That is the most people on any of
Commercial.
these podcasts at one time I've ever seen.
Yeah, a lot of times they do have 9 in the box on that show. I know that's Bob and Kevin's peeve is that let me try this with another browser. Bob and Kevin's peeve is that
They only like 2 or 3 on at a time, and maybe
mhm,
a
yeah,
guest.
that they only want. Thank you for finishing my thought because
Yeah.
I'm trying to
No, it's
pull this
okay.
up here.
Yeah, sometimes it can I don't understand, but sometimes I'll click on their show to go watch it, and I don't understand what's going on, and sometimes I have to shut it off because 'cause they're all talking at once.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I
Yeah,
just
it
watched
can
Bob
be.
and
Yeah, I know. That's why I started watching, but
Mm.
I mean, they do have good moments now.
him and the fish tank guy.
Fish
Let me know
tank.
if you get sound with this.
Okay. I think that fish tank guy's name's Bobby too.
Yeah,
There's so many Bobbies in here.
I know.
Let me know.
fish tank Bob.
Oh, hang on a second.
I don't hear it.
I'm gonna try again.
I think I seen him fall down 4 times one night.
This might this might have
Wow.
too much. Here we go.
Yeah, he always seems like he's a little intoxicated or something.
I thought that too, but it seems to be that's
You hearing that?
No.
No audio.
No.
Okay.
Could be on the video though, I don't know.
I'm trying to share from another browser, but I
Mm,
share system on.
Well, they can.
there you go.
The only one with access. The producer. I got rid of him as an admin on there.
Oh, so you kicked him out then.
Bobby Friend got removed as an admin.
What?
I got shit playing
no,
out
is
here.
that
Bobby Fran is your producer?
No.
So start that over again. So you started hearing that at the end, huh?
Mhm.
Okay. But you get the idea. That's what happened. I'm having streaming issues this morning.
Yeah.
But,
I think it's just whenever you try to screen share on clips, sometimes it does that, I guess. I don't know why.
I know, and I literally so Scott and I and Andrew got together last night, and that whole session was a screen share, and we didn't have any issues because it wasn't
Maybe it's 'cause
YouTube.
it wasn't live, yeah, on YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, some kind of issue going there. But that was
Weird.
enough that y'all get the point of it, and that we tried to go on air to do Rob's show, the kind of a hey, kind of bust your balls kind of thing. He killed the show, killed the feed. I don't know if any of it exists. I don't even know if the Rob Salt show exists and what form it exists. I think he's still mad at Chris. Last I heard, he dissed Sean as an administrator on it. So I really don't know the status of the Rob Salt show. So Wednesday at 8:30, you're gonna have to look on your social media and look around and see if we show up. And if we do, maybe we'll get to the bottom of some of this stuff. The Rob Salt show saga.
Yep.
We'll
It's
get to some of
crazy.
that. All right, let's
he
keep
was
rolling.
just
This.
starting to lighten up. He was just starting to
I
lighten
know.
up, and I was
I know. I thought the same thing too. And a little more behind the scenes thing is that I kind of like I threw my 2 cents in and I said, hey man, I thought it was a good kind of a funny bit that wasn't like hateful or anything like that. You know, didn't have nothing to do with all these podcast war shit. Something we were
Yeah.
just clowning around and having some fun with. But
I post
I
the
don't think
link to the clip in the chat just in case anybody wanted to see it, but
oh, that's cool.
it'll be in there.
All right, cool. Yep. And of course, hey, shout out to the 6 people joining us live. Thanks for joining us. Just hanging out as friends, doing a little podcast review. We're gonna keep this package rolling that Stormy played, and F o'clock. I know what this one
Late
is.
because I'm coming in here fucking throwing the dick around like Mike Moore says now. He comes in last minute now. You notice that, Julie? It's fucking
Let me tell you something. Stank on the hang low Morse is on his own time. He ain't rushing for nobody now.
yeah,
I
no
like
more
it.
fucking where's all the parody songs now? I don't think they're coming anymore. You know what I mean?
Well, something's coming.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, that's the thing. Before Mike started dating this woman, you know, the content was just pouring in from Mike. He's like, "Hey, can we have another meeting?" I'm like, "Mike, we haven't ended this one. Why do you want to
Exactly.
start another one?" It
Yeah.
was now it's fuck o'clock, buddy. For the Bobby Tran.
It's like
Yeah.
Gold Rush. He found the glory hole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and fucking, he's not fucking getting out of it. That's for sure.
I like that.
Oh, it's funny.
I see you with your mouth, with your hand over your mouth the whole time, talking about how Mike's coming in, you know, after having sex and all that stuff. So it's
Yeah.
funny, yeah. When he came in that morning, he did have that glow about him. It was so much so that he couldn't hide it. Like, he had a smile on his face, he had a glow, and everybody in the chat was like, "Oh, somebody got some last night." Ain't that something, Scott? How you can kind of tell guys have a tell like that, don't they? Oh, he froze up.
Yeah. It's kind of
That's funny.
aura around him or something.
Yeah, you could tell. It's funny how people get. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I could tell. Everybody could tell. Hey, our friend from Mike, Bobby Nick said, "What's up, Bobby Nick?" Yeah, good for Mike. Good for Mike indeed.
Yeah.
So that was funny, and I got a little comment in on there. That's always
The
fun to
next
do that.
part, I
Yes.
accidentally, but I left it because it's funny. I sped it up by accident. I hit a button, but it made it funnier, so I left it.
I agree, it's funnier. And I'm glad you said that, because I clicked through this a little bit and I got to that part and I'm like, once again, with all my screen shit, did I do something? Did I just change the speed on this clip? But it does kind of help it and make it funny. So yeah, we caught this on MLC last week, and let's roll this.
Goes crazy and punches someone. Can we call him Fat Pack Dixon?
Call him Fat Dixon. You got Fat Dixon.
Oh, that's funny stuff. Aaron doesn't want us to read that.
And then we got to pick a
Chad
winner of
fucked
the
it up
day.
anyway. He said Fat Pat Dixon, which is
Yeah.
Fat Dixon, which is 10 times funnier, and it still works because I read it before he read it out loud. That's why I was laughing.
Fat Dixon.
Repeat it and laugh one more time.
Fat Dixon.
We're having a good time. Hit that like button. Hey, Mike, when you stay with Chad in Florida, you'll have your own fridge. And Chad likes to toss salads. Or have a salad sauce.
Hey, oh my God, he read what
I
he
did
does.
it backwards.
No,
Bob,
you didn't. You're not
I did
going
it
to
reverse.
be like me. You like to toss salads.
I
He
reversed
said that.
it.
He said Chad likes salad.
Yeah, and I said it the other way.
Because what's in your mind, what you do.
Yeah, right.
Salad.
Right. It's in my
I'm calling
mind.
Florentine
And then,
right
yeah.
now.
Oh, okay. This is great. Good
What kind of
podcast.
salad does
Here
it
we
get?
go.
They're all on meth for the first time. Isn't it?
Yeah, so that was funny for two reasons. I clicked through that and I saw it playing real fast. I'm like, wow, was it really that fast when I watched it? Is there something going on? It really took me once or twice. And I thought I did something wrong. So that's funny for two reasons. It's not only funny because of the way it got sped up, but it's also funny about the Freudian slip where Chad said that he likes to toss salads, right?
Yep.
And Bob jumped on that shit right away. He's like, you said it because you meant it. You like to toss
Reading it
salads.
up put emphasis on it too, I felt like, whenever Bob was calling him out. It was funny.
He likes the mud.
He's sure he must be a true mud shark. So that was funny. We were watching that live, and then he read that super chat. And Bob, yeah, you saw it. How quick he just jumped on him when he said, "But I like to toss salads." Bob was like, you said it. You said it because it's true.
It
So that shit
amazes me that he has trouble reading on certain things he reads, but he can point out when Chad makes a mistake like that. It's so funny.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Bob does surprise you with some of that kind of stuff sometimes. Yeah. So that's just on Bob being on the spot. That was a funny moment. We get that from MLC. You can see that, like, what's that? Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and stuff, right?
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, I think Thursday and
Or-
Friday.
yeah, he does the solo on Thursday normally, right?
Yeah, but he sometimes does it all week, so who knows? But most of
Yeah.
the time it's Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday and Friday.
Most afternoons at 4 p.m. in the afternoon. If you're got your notifications set, if you're near your phone, you can see MLC with Chad and usually Bob Levy and Kevin Brennan every afternoon. All right, so let's keep this rolling. All right, you got anything you want to say about that? More Steel Toe and Chad Zumick. So yeah, so this is just more and more of the blowback, and now the blowback is ending up. I think it's beating Aaron's ass. If you ask me, it's my impression. And
Yeah.
this this just goes in line with everything that we've kind of been saying all along, that we didn't think that Aaron and them really fit into the world they were trying to push themselves in, and we've kind of figured if they kept poking at these guys, they were eventually going to get some heat and some backlash that they didn't like, and it's kind of happening. And now people are just getting carried away with it. Like Chad has his show about them.
Yeah.
You got something you want to add to this?
I mean, I started watching Steel Toe before, but then of course, as soon as all this drama starts happening, you get all this stuff showing up in the algorithm on your YouTube or whatever, because every show is talking about it. So
Yep.
then it goes from clicking on one link and watching something to another. So then I come upon, other clips and I'm like, well, maybe I should bring this up because it's interesting. So there's a few times where you'll notice that Aaron talks about his ex-wife on his own and it's on his show. So I mean,
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on exactly with everything, but the stuff that we see, he either should clear it up or drop it and quit talking about him because he keeps talking about him.
Yeah. Well, I think part of what's happening, Stormy, my personal observation is we've talked about how Aaron kind of talks in circles and inconsistently, and he doesn't always represent the same points of view every time. And I think now he's done this over a pattern of over a course of years, and the people that are on to him now are looking for the patterns. And like you said, it didn't
Mhm.
take much to just go out and find stuff, number one, or just to have the stuff come up in your feed, because
Yeah.
now everybody is hype on this story. I do believe that the phrase they have bit off more than they can chew. I believe he bit off more than he can chew. And what is with this backpedaling now? Now he's saying, well, we do a fun show. I'm right. Everybody knows he don't want the kids being talked about, which we don't even know how much is actually
Mhm.
being done. But now it's just turned into a whole backpedal, like you guys took the bait and I was like it was a bit or something all along. What do you think about that?
I think that I mean, you'll notice in these clips, he even says he pretty much targeted Chad and went for it. I mean,
Yeah.
so I don't like the way that Chad does some stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't think everybody can agree some of the stuff he does isn't okay, but you brought it on yourself. You brought it on yourself.
What do you think about all this, Scott? I see you got with a good smirk on your face. You follow some of this stuff.
Yeah, because it seemed like everybody was shitting on Chad, but I think he's starting to win everybody over. I was kind of always on his bandwagon.
Well,
It seems like
I'll
seems
give
like
you
he's
that
winning
credit.
people over.
I agree, Scott. I'll give you credit for that observation because you're right. You said a couple weeks ago in here, like you said, I think I'm like the only Chad fan. I think I'm alone, but and you said it, and my whole thing was that I was a fan of Chad even before I really knew him too deeply from this podcast stuff. I was already a fan of him because he was one of the comedians that would show up on my Twitter feed, So I had no reason to like it. I mean, to dislike him. My only thing about disliking any dislike towards Chad was the way he carried on MLC, the way
And
he tried
busted your
too hard.
eardrums.
Yes,
Made
the
your
busting.
ears hurt.
Yes, absolutely. The busting of the eardrums and the fact that I don't know. Like I said, we've all take shots at Levy, and it's kind of, even if they're good zinger shots, it's still like a fun nature to it. But it just seemed like there was so much anger behind him wanting to take shots at Bob, and he was thinking that Bob was like out for him. But yes, I do agree. He has mellowed, and I believe that it really started with Shuli having him on the channel like what was it, week or two ago. He had him
Mhm.
on. He's been on Miserable Men in a couple of the shows now.
Yeah. Yeah, he was on Miserable Men, and he was on BS show this morning, but, I wanna say he was on something else, but now I can't remember what it was.
Well, let's use his overused word, cucking. Do you think that when he comes on and he's nice to the guys on these shows, is he cucking it up because he knows he talks so much shit, or does he really just want to be nicer to these guys because they're nicer? You have an opinion about that?
I don't hear him talking shit about, like, anybody as bad as he has went at Steel Toe, though, I mean, but I think that's for a reason.
Yeah.
But I don't like I said, I don't agree with it every time he does or says something, and sometimes I think he might have a more feeling behind it than most people, but I don't know.
Like with the DabbleCon stuff. What do you think about that, Scott? Maybe he was ragging on DabbleCon and all that.
But yeah, uh, again, I found it funny and charming.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, Shuli is so forgiving like that, and he realized that is a lot of this is like kayfabe, like wrestling kind of just kidding around and jokes. So it's a good thing that Shuli never takes the jokes too seriously, because I mean, one could have been very pissed off that Chad was out there shitting on a live promotion. You're trying to do this first big live show, and he was basically kind of knocking it. But I guess Shuli either wasn't bothered by it, or he kind of saw the comedic perspective of it, maybe like you did, Scott.
And he's supposed to be in a dunk tank or something coming up, Chad?
That's going to be great. So, right. So now we're talking, right. So now he's coming the other way. And I agree with you that I'm finding myself conflicted. Like, am I starting to actually like Chad now? Like, and it's like, I don't know. It's very weird.
I try to be fair when I make these clips because I don't want to seem one-sided either, but that's all I get to see is one side now. And then you just see Steel Toe backpedaling and not being clear or shutting up, one or the other.
Yeah. Yep. All right, let's see. We'll have to see how this all plays out. But let's we'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and run this, and let's see where this takes us. Still talking about Chad Zimick.
And, she blocked me on my main Instagram. Then I went to my other one and cursed her out.
You have 2 Instagrams?
Chad has like 4 Twitters. What's the difference?
Okay, another red flag. When you have sock accounts, you probably got some problems.
I got to stop right there. Who says flag, number one?
Red flag. Upstairs. So I think we are figuring out sock accounts, cursing at people for no reason. Otaku is the wrestling community's version of Chad Zumock.
Misplaced anger.
Not funny.
Not funny.
Doesn't try to be funny. No attempts to be humorous.
Zero self-awareness.
No self-awareness. Ugly as a mud fence.
Terrible with women.
Yes, he's a
stalkerish tendencies.
He's a credit card theft away from being the Zumock of the wrestling
He already
community.
stole a house.
He did. He stole his grandma's house. He might be ahead of Zumock. Yeah,
How do they know that he's bad
Otaku,
with
if
women?
this is like your eHarmony profile.
Was that?
How do they know that Chad's bad with women? What makes them think that?
Yeah, I don't know. Everybody just comes up with these
He's
characterizations.
been divorced.
There you go. So that's who are you to say? Right, exactly. We're gonna start calling each other like bad parents and stuff. Hey, we got our friends from Boombastic Media checking in. Matthew and Alexander checking in. Let's see.
Yo, not a good look, buddy. You dumb fucking bitch. It's like I said, it's always cutting a promo in the Attitude Era.
He's like if Chad were into wrestling.
Yes.
Really?
He's if Zumock spent his nights watching pro wrestling, he would be wrestling Otaku.
There's no
So they're interviewing a whole different person, from my understanding from that clip. They weren't even
They're not
talking about
interviewing
Chad.
him. They're making fun of him. They took clips from his show and put them on theirs and was making fun of him.
Mm-hmm.
Which it started out like targeting him and making him, their bit, I guess.
Yeah.
And
but then they're throwing the Chad references in too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but this is that nice show that they don't make fun of everybody.
Right.
We do a fun show, right?
And
Yeah.
instigating. After you say that you're done with it, don't talk about it. You're instigating.
Right. So I guess they're never really done with it. But yeah, you see Aaron there being the tough guy and all that stuff. And we talked about this too, about this fake bravado thing he puts up. He posts pictures of like boxing rings on Twitter as if we're supposed to be impressed with his manliness. Or go ahead, Scott. You seem like you have something to say about that.
I don't. Yeah, he tries to be a man's man, but I don't see that in him. It's getting,
Thank you.
Scream that way. I just don't feel it.
Stormy probably gets tired of me making that point in clips because she'll send me a clip of him being an asshole, and I'm like, this guy thinks he's like a tough guy. Like any other part of the country, he would be a puss. He would be a pussy. Like he has this, and then I think we're going to talk about another clip in here from years ago when Aaron was at a radio station, and there are many stories. So I think we've all established that Aaron is not the guy he puts himself out to be, and now people are going out there finding little clips and evidence and things that he's actually said from the past to kind of prove that he's not the guy he says he is. We're going to use his own words basically, but in one of these clips, I mean, he talks about the ideal woman and what she should look like and what body parts she needs. Like, I mean, like he's some kind of great macho, perfect Adonis man who has this ability to throw judgment on people. I'm like, I just don't. He's living like in his own kind of bubble, and I think his bubble got burst when he fucking fucked
Yeah.
with Bob Levy.
And everybody has their flaws. There's things people don't like. He talks about how he doesn't like his hairline. Well, to me, it's an insult whenever your husband would call you on a radio show and ask you about getting a boob job. Like, that would be insulting. She should have told him to get hair plugs.
Exactly, and we're gonna play that clip that you're talking about. Yes, he actually judging. He actually thinks he's in a position to judge the looks and determine the body style of his now ex-wife, I think. Boombastic Media says, I like Chad. He's been kicking around forever, paying dues, getting shattered on. I love shattered. I love the past tense of shit. He got shattered on. I love the past tense. On, and he always rises from the ashes. Thank you for your comment. Yeah, like I said, I followed him loosely because he was like one of the names and the comedians that were kind of in that orbit. And I didn't really have an opinion of him one way or the other. Like I said, I don't go out looking to hate people right away. You kind of have to earn that out of me. So I like Chad. The only reason I started even considering disliking Chad was his way he carried on and his lack of respect for Bob Levy. Just wasn't playing right.
Yeah. He and I have shared a couple DMs now at this point, and he's super nice.
Yeah. And I thought he might be suspected as much, basically. Be nice. He's just kind of playing up to the room. Boombastic Media says again, Steel Toe is new to Compound Media, right? Correct. He's probably trying to defend his new owner. Brennan and Chad have been going back and forth with Kumia lately. Yeah. I don't know if that whole thing's going to be a permanent situation or not. Did you see any of that Steel Toe on Compound yet?
I've seen where the Nobody Likes Onions guy reviewed it. And so he pretty much played the whole thing and reviewed it. So I got to see it through that.
Did you? My man has some passion. That guy, I saw a little bit of him last night. He was complaining about how they're well into March and they still have the 2022 schedule,
Wow.
new show schedule.
He's
And,
very observant.
Yeah, he very observant and I'm like, I feel you, bro. I know they didn't change the date, but I don't know if I have the passion that you do about that stuff. Boy, he was cranked up about
Yeah.
it.
I didn't know who he was, and I don't follow back as far as everybody else or know much about like Red Bar or anything like that because I'm late to all this. But apparently he was on Red Bar and was one of his fools to start
Yeah.
and kind of just progressed from there.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'll confess with you, I hear the Red Bar name thrown around all the time. Like he's some thing that you should have to fear that Red Bar's talking about Levy or Red Bar's talking about this and that. But yeah, I'm not overly familiar with Red Bar either.
no, I
So I
think he
will.
just has his own show behind a paywall on a separate,
Mhm.
website, network, or whatever.
Yeah, and I know of him. I know that's his thing. He kind of goes after these other podcasters and stuff and kind of
Mhm.
judges them
Yeah.
based on him.
And
I like
his
when
wife's been in the chats on, like, Misery Loves Company. I think it's his wife, girlfriend, fiancé. Jules David, I think is her name.
I've heard that name. Yeah, I see there in the chats throwing up super
Mhm.
chats and stuff. Red Bar's a funny dude, but he makes fun of the folks we love. There you go. Right, and
Mhm.
that's my understanding of him too. Is that yeah, he kind of clowns on all these podcasts. Like basically, it's like a sarcastic, like who the fuck are these podcasts? Is the way that I'm
Yeah.
perceiving it. Yeah, like who the fuck are these guys? But you get these names thrown out there, and yeah, we try to keep up with them, but there's so many of them.
Mhm.
So let's go on. Let's keep rolling the clip and all. So, and we'll
So
talk
they got
about the
the
next.
prize show, and then it'll talk more about the other clips where back in the day, Aaron was talking to his ex-wife and stuff.
Yeah. Now the prize show. I've saw some people talking in the chat about this. About doesn't this go? Is
Mhm.
this the one that they're complaining might go against terms of service?
Yeah, and I dissected it a little bit and looked because I watched the beginning of it and I heard it, and then I seen everybody else talking about it. So it made me go back and look because he says that he posted the rules in the chat and guidelines per YouTube and stuff. Well, I went back and I actually looked and I screenshot the rules that he put in there, and it's just like it's not really rules. I don't know.
Just cryptic, quick, cover your ass bullshit.
Kind of, but it might just skate across the line as being okay with YouTube. I don't know.
While you bringing up Steel Toe Chat, you reminded me of something else that I read and all of this stuff. And I went by the screenshot that somebody took of April telling chatters that they should only be engaging the host and not with each other. What, you ever
Yeah.
heard anything like that in a chat before?
No, I guess that her argument had to do with something with the people in the chat causing problems with the show because they were fighting amongst each other or something. I don't know. But it was affecting the show. Well, then just don't look at it.
That was my whole point too. I mean, these are grown ass people, and so now I just took it as, well, you're there. I don't want you guys talking about saying shit that we shouldn't do. Pay attention to us because like we're the stars.
Yeah.
But
Like you're the teacher of the classroom. Pay
Yep.
attention.
Yep. And only perceive things the way I tell you to perceive them. That's kind of the way I took that. But
Yeah.
we're all big podcast fans, and when you go into the chat is a free for all.
Yeah.
We not only engage the host, we engage each other and drop funny
Tell them
lines
not
and
to talk amongst each other is what I was understanding. We
don't
always
talk
do that.
amongst yourself. Yeah. I want to be able to control the narrative and the bullshit. It's like, very weird. I can't say I've never read a host telling people how to handle themselves in the chat, other than don't be an asshole or something. But let's roll this, and then we'll see what the prize show is all about.
If you've never been with us for a prize show, we still talk about stuff. We still get into news and entertainment and stuff like that. But it's also the night we give away hundreds of dollars in prizes to our audience. Give away a bunch of stickers. The nice thing about the $250 / VIP drawing, we always let people know that you can take the cash, or you can decide you want to become a VIP, which you probably get $150 in merch and whatnot. So it's not the $250 cash, but you get a $100 drawing every month. You get 2 tickets to every show we do. Some people prefer just, hey, give me the cash. Times are all fucky right now. And then other people are like, I've been wanting to be a VIP to this show for a long time. I'll take it now. So totally your call at the end of the night. But here are the rules. And God damn it, I got to get into the rules now. Now, there is no price to get into the $250 drawing. If you throw in, here's the rules. I'll put them in the chat right now. $20 super chats or $15 Streamlabs and PayPal. And that's just to make up the difference in the percentages for YouTube. We just give you 2. Here's one.
You got it.
You send us your contact information. We send you 2 of these. $8 on the store. We just give you 2 of them. Send them.
You mean I just keep rolling?
Yeah, this is just going on about the radio with the ex-wife.
All that math lost me.
That's what I feel like it's meant to confuse you.
Yeah, make it
Wife is,
perfectly
on the
confusing.
phone right now, and I had we were talking about you earlier, and the audience thought that one thing I said was particularly risky, and that I might get banned from sex for a while. But I thought it was a completely rational concern that I have, and a completely rational suggestion. And the thing was, as you know, I am a man who
the ex-wife,
boobs
right?
are very important.
Oh yes, I know. Well,
Imagine that.
hopefully butts aren't, because I don't have one.
Right. Well,
That's
it's
a
with
problem.
the exception of my first girlfriend, and all the gals I have loved their boobs, and you are.
Oh, that is awesome.
and
Okay.
you are no exception to that. So
Oh, you're so sweet. Okay.
you're not going to like this next part. My thing was, as you get older, you know that those things are going to lose their buoyancy, right?
Yes. Okay.
So
That is a true fact.
Right. My question is, like when the Jefferson Monument or the Washington Monument starts to get a little older, they touch it up a little bit, and that's not an insult to the Washington Monument. That's saying the Washington.
Yes, Aaron, I get what you're saying. Okay, you're talking about boobs.
You're
Yes,
skipping
okay.
too far ahead. The Washington Monument is a beautiful monument, and they want to keep it that way because we revere it and have such admiration for it. If the Washington Monument started to sag to its own belly button, we would be really concerned.
Oh my gosh.
So what I'm saying is, when you get a little older, I mean,
Yes.
perhaps it might be something we would look into, that I would touch you up like the Washington Monument.
Okay. First off, I totally guessed that that's what you're going to say, because you've said that before.
Yes.
But okay, couple things. First off, no, because that's super expensive.
No, it's not.
And I'm a scaredy cat, so there's no way I'm going to go for like an elective surgery, and then I potentially get like an infection in my boob, and
You're
then
not
something
going to.
crazy
We're not
happens.
going to go to. We're not going to go to.
No. Also, the boobs. I mean, I can put those suckers in like a push-up bra or whatever, and your balls are going to get saggy. But I'm not asking for you to get a surgery.
I fully.
I'll deal with those.
You don't
suckers.
have to ask me. I'm a good partner. I'm going to electively have my balls tucked up nicely.
No, you aren't. Oh, please.
What do you think I'm going to do? Let him get. What do you think I'm going to do? Like when I'm older, take up cycling, and I'm going to get him caught in the chain? Hell no. I'm going to tuck those bad boys back up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, because you do cycling now too.
Okay,
You're not
so
going to do that when you're older,
going to
honey.
do it because it's not like I'm going to take you to Tijuana to have it done, and you're going to have gravel in your nipples. Second thing is, somebody said that me talking about this is going to get me cut off, but I have a conspiracy theory that I'm not going to get cut off. No, I have a conspiracy theory.
No, you're good. You're good. We have wonderful sexual relations. We're fine.
First of all, you've been way too.
You talk about this stuff
Look,
all the time.
Listen.
So this won't do anything.
Okay, now you have to keep your answers shorter because you're losing me here. I have many things I need to get to, and you're making this go on too long and then blaming me. So here's the deal. You've been way too aggressive lately, and not in a way that makes me feel romanced, and not in a way that makes me feel sexy. And what I need from you is I need you to admit that you are conspiring right now to trick me into a baby.
No, Aaron, you and I both know what's going on. So no, that is no. And I don't even know why you're talking about this right now because no, that is not true. You know that.
You're trying to trick me into a
Okay, the kid
baby.
is knocking on the door. Okay.
I'm 31 years old. I'm 31 years old. You see my window?
You are just like that one guy you always mock. So no, that's not true. Enjoy the boobs while you have them. There you go. Good day, sir. Love you. Tulips.
Tulips?
Here's the thing, Oz. You just can't get through to women.
All you're asking is to be wine and dined, not just throw.
I'm asking to be romanced a little bit, and not only that, I have way more respect for her body than she does, and that troubles me. I respect her body so much that I want to medically alter it when she's older. Who wants to stare at
like you said, you're just asking to touch up the old monument. Is that what you're calling it?
Isn't that a great analogy, though?
I don't know.
I just want to touch up the Washington Monument. I mean, would a park ranger in Washington, D.C. look at you like you're an asshole if you went, man, we should make the Washington Monument look awesome? He's like, oh, what are you, sexist? You're right. Trying to help. Trying to help me help you. And by the way, she's a flat lion cur dog. She absolutely is trying to trick me into knocking her up. I have this in my head. I have no proof to substantiate it. That video will go up on YouTube later today. Mwah.
All right, we pause it there for a minute. There's a lot to take in.
I seen what Bobby Nick said, and I can be okay with that opinion. But at the same time, like it says at the end, if he's going to say that about his ex-wife, what's so bad about what Chad's saying?
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. He what we talked about before. He'll conveniently use his family as a shield when other people are talking about him. But yeah, it's like only I can talk shit. Hey, shout out to the 8 people that are watching us. You're watching Coffee and Pods. We're reviewing some of our favorite podcasts and podcast stories, and everybody knows about this Steel Toe podcast story. And now that it has blown up and it's kind of blowing back in his face, people are like really digging deeper. You don't really have to dig too deep, like Stormy said, because as soon as you start doing Steel Toe, these things come up on your algorithm, and everyone that, even if you don't want to see it, other people that are into this stuff, it's showing up on your algorithm. So, I mean, this is, when you live in glass houses, you shouldn't throw stones. And if he has all this stuff out here now, you talk about him trying to be like a Howard Stern, and that's one thing if he was good at it, Bobby Nick, but he's not very good at it.
Don't try to be Howard Stern. Howard Stern is his own. Be yourself and do your own thing. That's what people want.
I agree with that, Stormy, and I kind of agree with Bobby Nick in that he was trying to be Howard Stern. My whole thing is, bro, is that he's just not doing it very well. And you've watched him. It's like you just don't. You can't do that. Don't do that. Don't. Like I told you, he tries to have an outrageous opinion about literally every topic that's going on in society today. And when you do that, and then you're not consistent about it, eventually it's going to catch up to you. At least Howard was kind of consistent in his thinking and all, and he was kind of doing it as a bit. Where I believe Aaron kind of thinks he's this alpha male tough guy, and he thought he was in a position with to tell his ex-wife like, hey, I'm going to treat you like a Washington monument, and I'm going to.
That's an insult, and I don't think she took. By the way she reacted, I don't feel like she took it very well. I don't know, but maybe I'm looking too into that. I don't know, but
you could
either
tell
way,
you could tell it was something to talk about because he was trying to set up the story, and she was like, yeah, I know you don't like my boobs, and he was like, well, wait a minute, we're not there yet, kind of thing. Like he wanted to tell this whole drawn out story.
And if you notice at the end how he talks about trapping him into having another baby, you'll notice why I saved that on there in that clip, because Patrick Melton, I clipped part of what he said was somebody sending him a message to do with a baby, an oops baby.
Is that Everyone Loves Onion guys? Patrick Melton.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought. I recognized that name. Yeah, that guy's a lot of passion, right? And so there's a guy like that, like he said. Go ahead, Scott.
I like to profile people, and you got first. This gets back to him being acting like he's tough and stuff. He reminds me of somewhat like a little man complex. How they overcompensate for things that they don't have to. So he's always acting tough. He's always acting like women. He's truth of the matter is he probably like what Bombastic said. He's probably just a nerd and
yeah.
it
That's
just
why I
leans
always
into he's not.
Yeah, I always
and
tell.
also, so look at his body English. Ain't his back always turned to her a lot? Always turned to
Yeah,
her.
it is. I don't know if that's because of the camera or why he like sits like that to her. I don't know.
Yeah. It could be. I mean, I'll
It's
give
so-
him that because sometime when you're doing the radio thing, you don't want to like make like direct eye contact with the person because it's kind of a more of an audible thing where you're talking to the room. So I'll give him that. But yeah, I think he just has this weird kind of perception about himself that he is tough with the boxing ring, and he'll bring up right away like when things get tough. Well, I'm an amateur boxer, you know. Well, what the are we? We're supposed to be scared or impressed? And
if you talk about it, you probably ain't.
That's the best point because ain't a tough motherfucker that I ever known or around here talking about, hey, let me give you a list of why I'm tough and all that stuff. So I totally agree with that. Let's catch up on some of these comments because I think that one drew a couple comments. Let's see. Boombastic says, let's go up here.
I don't think I've seen anybody else bring those points up. That's the only reason I clipped that. It wasn't to be shady or mean. It's just like just to point it out.
Just to point out that if you're going to say certain things on this level and this time, and you have gone on record saying these other things, you can't act like you didn't say the things. You got to own your words, basically. Our Facebook user says he is an asshole. Okay, thank you, Facebook user. Let's see. And Boombastic says, watered down Howard Stern. Tsunami. That's George Takei. For those of you who listen to Howard Stern. No, you pronounce the T in tsunami. 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 Like, what the fuck are you talking about, George? Tsunami. Yes. So that's tsunami. Let's see. Exactly. Stormy. Apparently. Yep. She agreed with your take during that video. And we talked about that. Stern squirt. That's right. I don't mind people being themselves. And if you're outrageous or if you have an opinion and you consistently back it up and that's who you are, that's fine. And even if
he's
you're playing
a good
an
broadcaster, he's a good entertainer, he's a good broadcaster, I think he has the voice for it. He's not scared to get in front of people. Those are good qualities for somebody who wants to do radio. But
he
chooses his own path.
Yeah, he doesn't have any like belief in his convictions or strength in his convictions or whatever. He's grabbing at everything. He's like, I got to say something about the COVID, and I got to say something about this. You know, it's like he has to, and whatever one he catches on, that's the one he'll run with. Steel Toe is Michael Bolton from Office Space. I love Michael Bolton from Office Space. Sounds like someone's having a case of the Mondays. I love Michael Bolton. Michael Bolton's my dude. That's a good movie if you haven't seen that. Office Space. Mike Judge joint. I love that shit. Let's see. There we go. Some great comments here. Tat says, if he said that without talking to the wife, I would have been fine. But with the wife, it just made it uncomfortable. He's trying to put her on the spot. Yeah, and all in the effort for this kind of fake outrageousness. It'd be one thing if these things came up kind of organic, but you can tell they just kind of, he brought this up on air so he could let everybody else know that he's kind of an asshole. Let's see. Let's face it. Most of the pods we watched today tried to be Howard Stern. It's all based off of what he created. I agree Aaron picked an enemy that he can't handle anymore. Chad won. I'm not even big on the Chad fucking one thing because I don't even want to admit, I'm not even want to go that far to admit that Chad was right. I do admit that Chad was on the right side of this, and
he's done wrong too. He's done some bad stuff too.
Right, but I'm not in this whole kind of like, well, this one won and this one lost. This changes day to day. To me, it's not a win or loss. To me, it's like somebody's an asshole and somebody's more or less of an asshole. But I don't know that any of them actually
more likable for sure.
There you go. Right. I don't know that. Right. I don't know anybody won anything. But let's see. Not the ones I watch, Mr. Nick. Yeah, so yeah, some people, I mean, yeah, there's always going to be like a Howard Stern influence and things for those that go back that far as like just being candid or talking sexual or saying things. But like I
I think
said,
it
he
just
always had
depends
some
on what you look for in entertainment too, because you're not gonna see these in today's people that don't know about Howard Stern, their podcasts and stuff aren't gonna be powered towards that.
yeah, they're just doing mimics of the things that they've seen other people actually mimic from
Yeah.
Howard Stern, you know. And the other thing is that Howard Stern earned his reputation, you know. He didn't just flip on something. He earned it through grinding years and years, and he developed that personality, he developed that reputation.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't he consistent though, like, and didn't backpedal, and he was consistent in his morals and what he said and didn't
Absolutely.
that's what I
Absolutely.
thought, but I
Paid
I
a
thought
lot,
you guys would know
he
better.
paid a lot of money in fines to keep that opinion too.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. He did that too. He kind of set this course for these guys and made this kind of more the norm and the accepted thing. But yes, and he did, Stormy, even if it was being outrageous, like he'd do the lesbian dating of the lesbians or something, at least if he was on a path, he would be kind of consistent with it. He wasn't
And you
just
can
going.
tell his comedic point of view versus his true also, like, in my opinion, I could anyways. I could tell in stuff I've
Yes.
listened to how he was kidding about certain stuff and how he made comedy out of situations.
Right. And my personal opinion is, and I've told you this before, is I think that Aaron and April just talk about everything. They literally, they don't, I don't think they have us. They just talk about everything,
Yeah.
and whatever sticks, they'll kind of, I think they'll just go with the hot topic, whatever pops off. Now, it's another thing if you talk about a topic and you have a lot of passion and you want to drive that topic, but I literally think they just go out everything. I mean, I tuned in a little bit this morning and they're just on whatever's going on, just trying, hey, what can I say about this? What can I say about that?
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's check in with more of it's our friend Bones, co-host of the hit sports show on the Shuli Network. What's up, buddy? Bones. Tess says, hello, Bones. Hey, you guys ain't supposed to be talking to each other in the chat, according to April. I just want you to know we might have the steel toe rules here. Y'all guys getting along and shit.
Yeah,
having
you're
your
not
own
supposed to talk
opinions.
to each other, cut it out.
Yeah, get them, Stormy. We don't pull that
College.
shit. Silencio, por favor. Okay, I agree with everyone being influenced by Stern. Yeah, anyone that's been around from our generations, Matt, you have to say that. And I work real hard. Well, I don't want to copy Stern. Yeah, I like to express my opinion, and if I feel like I'm going to hold back on something, I can say, well, maybe Howard wouldn't hold back, so I try to say, as long as I mean it, if I have conviction by it, I kind of go, okay, well, it's maybe it's okay to say this if you have the right kind of conviction behind it. Let's see. Cass is laughing. That's right. Ha ha, very funny. You think it's funny to just talk to whoever you want in a free society, Tass? I don't know what you're doing. But at any rate, hey, we got 10 people with us. Shout out to the double digits. 10 people. This is episode 10. It's Monday. You're with us. We're talking about all of our favorite pods and all of our people that are in them and everything that goes on around it. I enjoy the conversation that we have in the chat. I appreciate Bobby, Nick, and Tass and Boombastic. And let's roll this clip and see if we can have a little more. See what we got here. What is that now, sad Chad?
It's just asking the question after that, if what Chad said is really that bad now compared to what he's already said about his ex-wife. Like, Chad didn't say anything bad that I
Right.
heard.
It's just the
I mean,
fact that
he's
he brought
being
it, that it came up.
Yes, and he
And
is using it as a weapon. He
Yeah,
is.
he might have alluded to Aaron being like not a deadbeat dad or not a great dad, like alluded to it. But to me, when you're talking about kids, it's when you come down to saying direct things about their appearance, their looks, where they go to school, how they live. You don't
Yeah.
get into any of that. But just to mention that somebody has kids and they might not be
Yeah,
doing
that's
you're,
not a bad thing to do that, I don't think, but, I mean, he's not said anything bad, again, I've never heard it.
if that 6 is about viewers, I got 10 in mind. I don't know what 6 means, but what's up, Justin? I see you on the Sports Head, and I see you in Andrew's chats all the time. Welcome, just a guest. All right, here we go. Let's go with this. Is it really that bad?
I feel like that's a good
Chad,
mechanism.
the thing I like about Chad, I think he's an evergreen lol cow. I don't think Chad's going anywhere. I don't think he's going
That's
anywhere.
good.
I think he's too proud, and I hope he does well. You know, if Chad does well, we all do well with him. You know, I don't
Yeah.
think he's going to do well. He's a comedian without a sense of humor or a desire to be funny. That's very strange to me. But he'll never quit, and I admire that about him. And you know,
He made his interview about Chad.
Does a great
He's making
job.
other people's interviews about Chad.
Yeah.
So one day we're in the middle of doing John stuff, and I catch this video of Chad Zumach, who I'd never heard of before. Well, no, I'd scratch that. I had heard of him because like 8 or 9 months earlier, Anthony was making fun of him for the credit card theft stuff. But nobody was really making fun of Chad yet. And we did a video on Chad saying he was going to jump in on the Stuttering John stuff. And I'm like, I called it out on our show. I'm like, fuck this guy. He's just Yeah, he's just jumping on so he can get some heat from something. And we called it out. And then Carl called it out after. And that's how I got to know like Christy Mayer and Frank Pellegrino. Frank Pellegrino sent me a DM and goes, holy shit, dude, I got to credit you with kicking off the Chad stuff. And that felt really awesome. So Chad kind of became our guy. Like Carl and I kind of share custody of Chad Zumach a little bit. But anytime
you argue over like, okay, you're going to take him more. No, you're going to get full custody. No, you're going to get full custody.
Anytime I see a WATP clip and it's like a day before we were about to play a Zumach clip, I'll text Carl and be like, God, fuck you. Now I got to find something else for our last 30 minutes tomorrow. Because I'm not going to take something he just did and risk the chance of fucking it up or not doing as good a job. So it's like we jumped on Chad, and then we jumped on that Tony Michaels guy because I saw him and I went, oh, this guy's a fucking creep.
And I want to ask you about some of the Tony Michaels stuff too.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, those were the two guys that allowed us to leave John alone completely. And then we check in with Opie every once in a while because he's a train wreck.
So the nice show that doesn't make fun of anybody jumped on Chad, and they kind of own Chad, right? This is what I'm hearing, right?
And it's his admission of he started it, and he targets people. I mean, it's not
On a
about
fun
his
show.
fun show that
Mhm.
does their own thing. It's about finding people to target, which if that's what your show is, it's fine, but don't lie.
Right. And then so now he made it a point. He got what he wanted. Chad, he owns Chad, right? He targeted him using his own words. Now the target is firing back, and he don't like the way that it's going. So now it's now gone to the back pedal, right? So it's just another pussy move. It's just another guy. He was out there pulling at shit. He's like, okay, we got this guy Chad now. Now we own Chad. I own half of Chad. You go in on Chad, it goes good for you. You're okay with it. But then all of a sudden, when the momentum changes and now Chad has the best of you, you're going to backpedal, complain about what he's bringing up, and then say, we're hands off. We do a fun
But you
show.
still talk about him whenever you're trying to claim you're done.
That's a straight pussy move. That's a pussy move. You don't do that shit. So you get what's coming to you in that case. You know, if you say you own somebody, then own them. Don't own them until the minute you start losing the fight and then act like a chump and go, oh, you guys are talking about my kids and you can't do that
And
shit.
there's a way to address it too. Like if he really didn't want somebody to say something about his kids and they did, he could let that be known in a way that Chad would get the idea and lay off of it.
Possibly it could have been done better, but yeah, when you do everything on air and then you're also calling him out on air, right? I don't know if anything was
But
actually done.
He shouldn't talk about his kids or his ex-wife or any of that at all if he doesn't want it exposed.
It just, like I said, when he started complaining about them, talking about his kids, which we don't have anything clearly said,
No.
it was just I'm going to throw the kid shield up now because I bit off more than I can chew. He bit off more than he can chew with Chad, and he certainly bit off more than he can chew with Bob Levy. And don't you notice that when has all this really popped up now? After he fucking stepped to Bob Levy, now all of this shit has been churned up, right, Scott? I see you shaking your head.
Yep.
Because it was kind of common, kind of normal, just regular Aaron shit. But this has really hit like another level or another gear now.
And you've got Nobody Likes Onions, Patrick Melton. He's pumping that content out and dissecting and pulling it apart and combing through it like nobody ever has that I've seen.
Yeah, we're having a lot of fun with it because we enjoy watching these and talking about them. And I don't put too much emotion toward it or waste it. But that guy Patrick, boy, that man is passionate about that shit. And see, and this is what you have. This is the kind of stuff that Shuli talked about with Gino and Bob, is that now you have these people and these entities that are carrying on their own. They don't need you anymore. You gave them the raw red meat for the argument, and now they're going out finding videos like this, and things like that, and just more reason to attack and keep the thing alive.
And Win by 2 Radio, have you ever heard of them?
No, I haven't.
Well, actually, they're kind of doing the same thing that Patrick Melton's doing, but Bob Levy is actually in their chat conversing with them back and forth about the issues too.
And that's another thing I've noticed that after Steel Toe came for Bob a little bit, Bob has been quite more active on Twitter and in chats with Gino and others talking about, hey, why did you say this or why did you say that? Or if they're misrepresenting something, Bob is in there or on Twitter kind of, well, that's because you did this or something. And to me, I've never really noticed that out of Bob a lot, but he's definitely more on the point now. Like, hey, what are these people saying about me?
Yeah.
Let's see. We have Mr. Bonelo, Boastic Media, excuse me, wrong B. Do you guys think in the underground comedy podcast scene that when you get called into a public beef that you have to go as hard as possible? Thank you, Matt. Any take on that? I don't know. I think you have to determine like a lot of things in life. My personal take is you have to like figure out kind of how you want to approach this and handle it, especially if you're going to be podcasting day to day and week to week like we are. But I don't know. It all depends on the level of the beef and what they're going at. I mean, it's good for wrestling heat to kind of like mention that maybe somebody mentioned you, but as far as how deep or far you want to go, I imagine it has to have to do with how much passion or involvement you have with that. Like I said, I don't have like a lot of passion about this story. It's interesting and all, but I'm not like Patrick Melton and some of these other guys where they're like living and dying by the emotions and they're turning blood red about it and all that shit. Like I'm not that guy about this. I'm more like a casual observer about it. But I guess to each his own with that. I don't know if that was a great answer for that question, but
If you have skeletons in your closet and you're not willing to be transparent and own them, you don't need to be doing it anyways because they're going to find them.
Right, and it goes back to being hypocritical. Like, right, you can't talk about your own kids or other people's kids, have it documented on record, and then say that you can't do it because it's going to bite you in the ass. So
All
you
you
got
have
to
to
be.
say is, yeah, I got divorced. So what's the joke in that? You know, I have kids. You weren't there. You don't, he could just own it that way. So
True. That's even better point. That's an even better point. Yeah. So, okay, let's check out these couple. Brian Clatter says, "What's up, guys? What's up, Brian? Sounds good, buddy. What up, Brian? There you go, talking to each other again, Stormy. Look at this shit.
Cut it out."
They didn't get the memo. Frank gave credit. We were talking about that was part of the clip where Steel Toe was talking about Frank and
Gave
Chris.
credit to, I can send you more of that if you want, or that episode if you want it. But he was talking about giving more credit to something to do with Chad, starting the beef with Chad, giving credit to Steel Toe.
Yeah, right. Frank gave credit. Okay. Yeah, it's right. To like somebody's going to actually say that. Hey, thank you, Aaron. You're a great guy for bringing this. Like, is that
Thanks
really
for
a
starting the
conversation?
drama with Chad.
Right. What's up, Mr. Clouda? Our friend Bobby Nick says, "Hey, Brian Clatter and Boneloods. People don't know the Steel Toe rules.
Comment. Cut it out.
No, they didn't see the early part of the show where April tells you, why are you talking to each other in the chat? Talk to me. You talk to Stormy and BF and Scott only. Hey, yeah, Mr. Reverend Levy ain't a neutral party anymore. It's fantastic. Yeah, Tass, and I don't like to see him cranked up and all, but I do like to see him defend himself. It's sad that he has to. And like I said, we speculated all along that Steel Toe, these guys are they're figuring out what the next show is up, and they're trying to go in and get heat. They kind of heard some Chad rumblings and some MLC rumblings. Let's get some heat off of that. Let's get some heat off the Shuli world. Let's act like we're really into DabbleCon and Stuttering John, but when it actually comes up, we're not going to go because we're really not that into it. We just want the heat that comes off of it. That's what that is. It'd be one thing if they were sincere about any of the things they said about John or anything in the heat. It feels like survival sometimes. Yeah, dude. It's kind of what it is. Let's see. Tass says, some of it, yeah, Mr. Boom. I hate it that some of them legitimately destroy lives. That's not what I'm cool with. And that's where we're getting at, Tass. And that's the pathetic part in that now these people are so busy one-upping each other that some of these desperate people that have no talent or no other way out are now doing all these other things offline, like doxing and getting involved in people's lives and getting their gigs canceled. I mean, that is just that's just it shouldn't be. You should write the better joke. Wait to the next show. Wait till you get another line in or something sometime. But to go, okay, well, that guy got the best of me, so now I'm going to ruin his life, and I'm going to call up and make threats to a comedy club, or I'm going to get him doxxed or something.
How do you feel about how Chad and I believe the Nobody Likes Onions guy, they called one or maybe more of the sponsors of the Steel Toe Show. How do you feel about that?
I don't like that. I
I
think
don't either.
I think you do it from the inside out. You know, they will if you are true about what you're saying and you're right about them, they will naturally crumble. This like I've only won the argument to this far, so now I'm going to get on the phone and call a sponsor. That's, to me personally, that's not where any of this is.
Their
Jump on,
sponsors are local. They're like Minnesota sponsors. So they know what kind of radio he does and what he's known for because he was either fired or kicked off or quit or whatever the radio show that he originally had in Minnesota
Yeah.
for whatever he said about some other woman.
Right. Yeah, and there's that whole story out there too floating around if that's come up in your algorithm, and that apparently Aaron had a history of working another station in Minnesota. A female employee outdid him for a job, and I understand that there was some back and forth with them.
Then he backpedaled on that, it seemed like too, but who knows?
Yeah, so let's see. Here we go. Taz says, oh, no, Boombastic says, sorry, next line. Should never go past jokes. That's right. That's right, Matt. It never should, and that's what we get at. Right, do a better joke. Come up with a better bit. Wait till the next show or something. But this whole, now that I know who you are, I'm gonna like get inside. I mean, just think about the
Joke
time.
or a jab is what I always look at. Is it a joke or is it a jab? Is it something that's going to really hurt somebody or is it something that you're just making fun with? But I don't know. Sometimes it just seems like they're really trying to hurt personal lives.
I like Tatz's opinion here because we've had this opinion for a while. None of these fights are entertaining or good content. Thank you, Taz. And I agree with that too. And that's kind of been my point all along when I see all this stuff, is that every minute that they spend doxing people and calling sponsors, they're not being funny. They're not concentrating on their show. And then eventually, if you fall into that lane too hard, you're just going to turn into a shitty, bitter person. I don't like letting people take me and make me behave in a way that I'm.
But you can't start a fight that you're not willing to see to the end or just take a loss at and just drop it. Like,
or you're going to change the rules during the game, and then you're going to go, okay, well, I started a fight and you beat me too well, so now I'm going to backpedal and say it wasn't really a fight at all, and we're going to like go behind the scenes and do shitty stuff.
Imagine it being a physical fight. Stop! Don't hit me in the face. You're not allowed to do that.
Exactly right. If it was physical, yeah, that you ain't gonna stop nobody mid-fight. Let's see, celebrity boxing, comedy deathmatch. Here we go. Celebrity boxing Sunday, comedy deathmatch. Yeah, thanks, Brian. Yeah, maybe that's what happened back in the day with Bonaducci and Danny Bonaducci and Bob Levy. They talk so much shit to each other. It turned into, you remember that, Scott? I see you got a little chuckle out of you on that one.
Yeah. The bitch slap that Bob Levy gave Buttafuoco, or whatever his name was, Bonaducci, whatever.
Bonaducci, yeah, Danny Bonaducci.
That slap was that was so real. I thought it was real at the time, which it was a real slap, but it was I guess the thing was kind of staged, right? It wasn't a real fight, was it?
Yeah, I've only heard Bob say after the fact that it was they kind of put it on. Like, I think they had a real beef, but then when it turned into the whole boxing match thing, I think they just layered on the kayfabe, dude. And they just, every day they would come to the radio station or be on the phone, they would build it up.
The shit talking build up. But the redhead, what was his name? I forget it.
Yeah, Danny Bonaducci. He used to, yeah, Bonaducci.
Yeah. He's a steroid. He's muscled out. He was I didn't see the actual fight. I didn't get to see how the fight went, but
yeah, the fight was hilarious. Yeah, they put on the whole thing. It was, yeah. I agree totally. Let's see the best match, especially going after fans. Yeah, that's not cool. We got our friend Chuck checking in with a nice comment. Thanks, Chuck. Chuck says, that's why I like Bobby Fran. He can do a real show. The podcast Jocktober ripoff are boring as hell. Thank you. I love you, Chuck. I would say no homo, but I might have to be a little homo for that comment. Thank you, bro. Thanks, man. Yeah, and that's what we like. We just like to come on here and just try to hang out with y'all, see who shows up, and be ourselves. And I'm not perfect, but we just like having fun, and I just like not talking in circles, just having fun. I said, yes, Chuck, yes. All right, thank you. All right.
Maybe I can ask you a chat question. Is my hat offensive to anybody? Is my sock hat offensive to anybody? Make you think something?
So that was a passing comment. If any of you didn't see sports heads on Friday, we can ask in the chat. symbol that this will be thought is just a passing symbol on Scott's hat. Somebody made a comment about it, so I won't say anything about it. We had determined it's basically just like a random motorcycle kind of Iron Cross thing. Shout out to the 12 people joining us. We're glad you're here. We're watching Coffee and Pods. We like to not only watch some clips of our pods, but we like to talk about them and what's really going on and what's really kind of happening and being said between the lines. Let's see what our friend Brian says. Brian says, the media was going against free speech comedy, but now they left them alone because they're tearing themselves apart.
Yeah.
Move on and be more funny. Yeah, Brian, thanks. Thanks for the comment. And I do agree with that they are kind of, and that's the problem. When at some point when you're pointing a finger at someone for the bad comedy they do, it's going to go full circle. And I do agree with you. That's kind of where we're at now, where people are kind of like putting themselves in a corner by calling each other out to where it's all negative movement. Let's see. My sister says chopper.
Oh, about the hat.
Oh, right. American chopper. Okay, there's a comment. She thinks it's a chopper.
Motorcycle feel is kind of what I thought, but then I can also see where somebody would get the German feel from it or something. And anyway, I was just asking if I'm not married to this. I can take it off, but
I don't see anything wrong with it, but
I didn't know I was walking down the street and everybody thinking I'm a Nazi only wearing my hat.
All right. Just ride your bike, just a bike rider. Everybody thinks that nowadays that people are doing like secretly symbolic things, or they watch a show and they go, I'm gonna find something about this person.
oh, there he is riding his bike. There you go.
Oh, there he is. Let's see. Oh, that's a dirt bike. Let's give me a bigger bike. Scott needs a bigger. There you go. He gone. He down the road. He with the Harley. It's Prop Master Scott. My man got the handlebars at the ready. Look at that. Let's see. What's it? I like this comment. Look at this. Steel Toe was trolling Scott's hat the other day.
I doubt it. We're nobodies to them. We're like probably scum.
I don't know, Storm. If you keep this up and you start pulling these things up from the past, we may not be nobodies no more, right?
Oh well.
And I saw you tagged Chad Zumach in the clip that you pulled up as a preview for this show earlier in the week, and I think Chad liked it or something.
Yeah, he mentioned a reference to it. I think he didn't like credit us or anything, but said he had seen something about them still talking about him, and I know that's where he's seen it at.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Thanks for mentioning that. We appreciate like Shuli and people like that. We kind of get the vibe that people are enjoying, especially your highlights package, because maybe everybody doesn't have time in this busy world to watch a show like this or to watch every podcast, but they do have time to watch your highlights package. So if you don't have time to ever watch this whole show, or you don't really want all the discussion or whatever, and just watch the clip, pretty soon after the show, Stormy and I will be sharing the highlights package that we're rolling and talking about right now. And you can find that every week, either on like her YouTube page or my YouTube page, or on Facebook in the Armchair Comic /Sportshead Facebook group. You can just watch this whole clip again and kind of watch everything that was said and kind of judge it on your own. So let's see. That's embarrassing, I guess. That's what people are saying about that. Let's see. Everyone knows Scott wears his hate on his flesh in tattoo form. LOL. That's right. There you go. That's right. That explains both.
I got a swastika right above the ink above my skin.
You got a swastika tramp stamp.
Oh man.
Sieg Heil, motherfucker. Stay still. Sieg Heil. Trying to read your tramp stamp. Okay.
Shaza.
Shaza. I took a Shaza. They like that. There you go. All right. Very good. All right. Well, let's keep. We got a couple more minutes in this. Let's roll this. Yes. Silence. I kill you. I kill you. All right. This is Aaron. Oh boy, you want to set this up? Because I haven't seen this.
Think this is the only performance I was able to find, because I keep hearing people talk about how Aaron has done stand up before. It's not really comedy. It's more impressions that I found, but I don't see it on anybody else sharing anything about it. But it's on his YouTube page. So,
yeah, a couple weeks ago, I heard rumblings of him. Like I did this stand up thing, and we had a room, and I was trying to imagine it. So this was going to be kind of nice for me to see. I went out looking for some stuff, and I didn't see a whole lot either. So I'll be curious to see.
This is just a small part of it. The whole thing's on his channel if you wanted to look at it. But this gives you the idea of what he was doing. Is just impressions. But it amazes me how the audience, it's Minnesota people, are that because it's in the Minnesota Stonies or whatever. that are responding to him this way. So they must really like him, and that his sponsors really know what he's about.
Okay, let's see. Maybe it's a sponsored fill room or something. Let's roll this and check it out. Let's see if we think it's funny as well.
I said you're gonna listen to every damn word I have to say. I said I'm gonna talk, and you're gonna listen, and you're gonna drink your little beers, and have your little cocktails, and take your shots, and your daiquiris, and your margaritas, and you're gonna kiss your girls, you're gonna kiss your boys, and you're gonna suck, and fuck, and gangbang, and get monkeypox, and then die. If y'all want Stone Cold to do a comedy show while y'all get monkeypox, give me a hell yeah. And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold monkeypox said so. So you guys want me to do impressions tonight? All right, now wait a minute, because I got a couple things I'm going to do. Don't come up here yet, because I got another guy who's going to come up the stairs. What do we want to hear? What? Scott Snyder's going to be tough without the headgear. Macho Man. All right. Let's do this fucking whose line is it anyway style. Macho Man talking about what? Hitler! Macho Man talking about Hitler?
What in the hell was that? All right. So what do you guys think about that? I won't say that. But Scott, let's start with you, brother.
First, it reminded me of a Hitler speech. You say a few lines, and you sound like they're doing a Zig Heil.
Yeah.
But I'd also like to say, I want to fight Steel Toe.
You want to fight Steel Toe?
I want to fist fight Steel Toe.
Well, that's the whole thing. I don't know. You might have to be from Minnesota if you're going to do that, Scott. Because
Yeah, and he only
talks
does
shit.
it in a sanctioned boxing match.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he says.
Yeah, and the last picture I saw, it looked like amateur, like junior high schoolers in there. I was like, what kind of? Yeah, he was like he showed this picture on Twitter about it, no better way to start the day. Like he's like fucking like Sylvester Stallone or something. Like he's gonna eat eggs and he looks like he's 160 pounds soaking wet. Let's see. My sister Kathy's saying they just changed rock bottom to 3. Well, we didn't see that because we're on here. So you can check Shuli Network for your updated information on that. Let's see. Bombastic says, leave it to Dan Soder. He's the king of wrestling voices. Yeah, Matt, you were talking about Dan Soder last week, and I kind of mentally froze. I don't really watch Dan Soder's show, but I did see an interview with him on Stabby's World. I can't remember pronounce Stabby's last name. He's a comedian from Baltimore, Stabby Savlakis or whatever his name is. He's a funny ass comedian. He does a podcast called Stabby's World, and I seen Dan Soder get interviewed on there, and he is a funny guy. I do agree with Dan Soder, but I've never seen Dan Soder or any of that bonfire stuff. I went back a little bit, and you brought that bonfire up last week. He left the bonfire, yeah. And the article I read, they made it sound like he was just like he's kind of wealthy enough from some of his other ventures that he can kind of do this, and he just kind of wanted to do his own thing. I don't know. They're never going to tell you the real stuff going on. But I did go back and check that out a little bit based on your comment last week. So, yeah. Whoop. Look at this. We got Mr. Stephen Bull. Our friend Mr. Stephen Bull checking in. Nice to see all of our nighttime friends on the daytime. All right, yo. So we got a little bit more of this clip package to go. Anything you'd like to set up before I roll it again?
Let me see. I think the next part, it's sped up like the other one. That was kind of sped up a little bit, but it's just whenever I made the comment earlier about the oops kid, it just points out like in this message that Patrick Melton received there, that reference is there again.
Okay, well, let's roll this.
And tells him, let him know Soft Weekly betrayed him. So I have these messages. Oh shit. I like a guest who goes prepared. Can you read it, please? So Soft Weekly says, Aaron, you got a second to talk. And Aaron says, what's up, pal? And Soft Weekly says, seriously, NLO is diving deep. Based on what I know, you filed for divorce almost 4 years ago from yesterday. You married April in Vegas 2.5 years later. Things I've learned lead me to believe you didn't cheat on your wife with April. I'd say that in public. But what happened? I'm not trying to dig up your life, but it's done now. These guys are going to get it all. Being divorced doesn't make you a bad guy. I would really hate it if NLO scooped me. And then Aaron replies, nothing happened. I got divorced because I was miserable. Unfortunately, during the process of the divorce, an oops kid happened. Ooh.
Oh, no.
And we moved on. Split the kids 50-50. I met April and have a better family now. Does he have kids with April? No, not zero. I've done my research. What amazes me is that any of these people would listen to the show for 5 minutes. I've talked about all these things, whether back during the radio days or streaming. As far as
all right, before I continue playing that, the oops kid, ain't that a great thing? So, yeah. I mean, it's not going to be too hard for that child to go, let's see, I'm this old, and mommy and daddy got divorced here, so I guess I'm the oops kid.
Yeah.
Oh,
Here's what people keep overlooking, too, and I don't know, maybe it's been brought up. He maybe didn't cheat on his wife. Maybe he was cheating on his girlfriend with his ex-wife. Just saying. Maybe because he says an oops kid, maybe he went back to his ex for whatever reason and he cheated on April or whoever he was with. But it doesn't matter. Just those details shouldn't even be relevant in this world, but they are at this point now, because people are dissecting it now. But he keeps talking about he sent that message to somebody who doesn't even have a real name, talking about his oops kid. Don't talk about it.
Exactly. Right. Now, I mean, that did look like a private message. And I mean, people are blowing up private messages now when people to call out people on shit they said in the past, which I don't always agree with unless you got to really defend your life or something like that.
But would you send that kind of private information to one of these people with like one of these fake names though?
Yeah, right. Yeah, like saying, right, like he was you in the tone he was defending it. Like, what's the problem, dude? Like, I just wasn't happy. Like, right, why do you feel that you had to defend yourself with that much passion to anybody? Like, if this is like you said, if this is just a rando, I could see him defending that, making that defense to a family member,
And
like, hey, I want you to understand why I left, kind of thing.
And I know it was sped up, so it was hard to hear, but I thought it was funny to do it that way. So what happened in that message, though, too, was that the person that was sending him the message said, you know, be honest with me because these pieces of the story matter at this point, and I can't back you, and I'm getting ready to turn on you and go to Nobody Likes Onions and be their, you know, person, whatever, troll or whatever that person is. And he's just then he goes on to explain his oops kid and all his personal details. Well, if somebody then told you they're going to flip on you, why would you trust them?
Exactly. Yeah. So right. So you have that, and then you have don't talk about my kids, but he put out a oops kid. That's not the first time I've heard that oops kid statement. He used that as a defense for something else or a rationalization. Might have been in one of the clips we watched. We had an oops kid. So you're calling one of your children a mistake, basically, a oops kid that happened in the course of.
Whether it's a surprise or not, it should be a blessing, not a oops, I made a mistake.
No, I don't like maybe in a very private situation, I might have said, well, if somebody would said to me, well, why did you have that last child? Well, it might because it turned into a kind of we didn't really want it to or kind of but
would you talk about it with Slinky on the internet?
It's Slinky, exactly, whoever. So yeah, but to go out there and put out there or make possibly potentially public calling your child a oops kid, that child can figure that out. So here's something, an example about how like this child could possibly come across this and go, oh, well, I guess I'm the oops kid, you know?
And maybe that's where Chad gets the reference if he said it. I don't know if I've heard him say it. He probably has, but where he talks about him being a bad dad. Well,
at this point, Aaron could just be recalling shit that he said about his kids, you know, because he says so much shit and with the oops kid and all, but he's attributing it to other people or like you said, or just the fact that somebody dared to make a comment based off of that. Oh, he said I had an oops kid. Well, that's because you said you had a fucking oops kid, you know, so maybe that's some of it too. Let's check out some of these things. Taz, shout out Mr. Bull.
Most
People
kids
talking to each other again.
Sorry.
Hey, I got that. Go, bro. Go ahead, Scott.
I think he's rethinking what
I thought most kids were oops kids, and then I apologize.
Yeah, right. Oops. Let's see. I wouldn't say that to a friend. Let's see. Right. For real, Mr. Bull. Tass agrees. And Tassa says, Poke holes in his condom, probably.
Because it's so pointy. It's got a pointy tip. It comes to a point.
Very good. All right, so I'll just roll that finish ending and let those final credits roll on that. Thank you again for another wonderfully prepared package. Very cool.
No, you're welcome.
Very good. I know you got to put a lot of work into that because it's a lot of clips and all. So I appreciate all the work you put into that.
You're welcome.
Let's see. What we got here?
Thank you, Stormy.
You're welcome.
My pop said he found
Love
me
your
under a
oops
cow.
kid.
Found me under a cow pie. Steven. Cow pie. Is that Andrew? I don't know. Let me see where's he at. Oh, here he is. There you go. That's Andrew. Let's see. Singing? Question mark? Oh,
I
the
guess
singing.
it could sound like him, maybe.
Let's see. Have a good one, guys. Tass, love you. We love you too, Tass. Thanks for joining us. We're glad that now that we do this later start time at 12 noon, Tass and more friends have been able to join us. So we really enjoy that and appreciate that. And Matt from Boombastic and Bone Loads, and it gives some other people some time to join us. Our friend Bobby Nick, of course. My sister Chuck, thank you for the nice comment, man. I really appreciate that. I'm gonna take a screenshot of that one, bro. Brian, our boy Brian Clowder, he was one of the first ones I seen like or share and show interest in our show. So we enjoy all of our friends and our people that enjoy the same podcast that we do. We like getting together and talking about them like this. But that was really good. So what do we have for today? My sister Kathy said that they moved that show. I wasn't familiar with that. I didn't go to the website. Let's see. I have to look for that. Yeah.
I didn't know they were moving it.
Let's see. I do see it scheduled for 3 now. I don't know. So today at 3:00 on the Shuli Network, apparently Rock Bottom podcast, they're calling it a bonus show, will have Carl from WATP. I saw Ray went on last night, like at 10:45 or something. Did anybody see that?
I only caught a few minutes of it. I didn't get to watch the whole thing. I was trying to get kids to bed and get ready for the week and then get my freaking internet to work.
That's amazing. I know you got a lot of work with family and all, and then you apply yourself real good to this. So I thank you a lot. Scott and I were watching with Andrew watching the wrestling last night and whatnot, and I was trying to watch Uncle Rico at the same time. They had Casey Armstrong on last night. Did you see any of that? Yeah.
Yep, I saw some of that too.
That was a lot of fun. I mean, they barely scratched the surface with that guy. That guy was involved in so many bits, and he has that great gambling story about when he went out and won like a few $100,000. It's $300,000 to $400,000. It was a lot. It was life-changing money.
Wow.
And he has incredible stories about how he don't really have that life-changing money anymore. And I remember at the time it was amazing because first of all, you couldn't believe he won that much money, and then like within a couple weeks, he said it was gone. And we couldn't believe it. So I look forward to seeing more appearances from Casey Armstrong on those Shuli Network shows.
I can't imagine get money disappearing like that.
And they talked about Casey joining the Uncle Rico live stand-up show up at Soul Joel's.
Ooh, cool.
They added him on there, so that'll be cool. Let's see. A couple of his last comments. Yeah, he left the bonfire. He's a funny dude. We were talking about soda in there. Let's see. Yeah, he was funny. That interview that he did on Stabby's World, he was talking about when he was 12 years old. He was conflicted because he was still playing with wrestling figures, but he would also go out the side of his house and smoke. It was funny as shit. He was like, I go, maybe I'll put the IW on, Stone Cold or something like that, or whoever the wrestler was.
I'm amazed by how many grown men on these podcasts have wrestling action figures and stuff like that. I didn't realize so many people do.
That's funny. I'm not an action figure guy, but I do. I have more of electronic toys from when I was younger. I have like all my old video game systems, so I have my own thing. So I'm not going to judge what
Oh,
grown
no,
men.
me either, but it just is amazing that you still have them,
Yeah.
and some of them are probably worth some money at this point, but I think that it's crazy that after however many years or these grown men still have their action figures.
Yeah,
I don't think
I've
it's
had.
just they still have them; they still buy them.
Or maybe they still buy them too, yeah.
I
That might
think I think it might be a little bit of both. And it is right. I noticed that as I got older, the generations that came behind me, it wasn't as much of a weird stigma, at least according to me, of kind of having that stuff and collecting it. Was kind of, more matter of fact, like, you kind of keep some of that WWE stuff and things like that, old comics. And I know Matt from Boombastic and all in the old comics and old media and stuff. So there's just some things that you want to just want to hang on to. So I won't judge them because as long as they don't judge me, because I like to keep some of my stuff from my childhood too. So let's see. We got a
I
couple
don't think
more.
I ever had any, like well, never mind, now that I'm really thinking, there was a doll that I liked when I was really young, and then there was a blanket that I really liked.
All right. Well,
Probably
what
older
kind
than I
was
should
it?
have.
What was the name? What did you call
What
it?
was
Come
the
on.
name of that doll? Oh
Hmm.
gosh. I called it Winnie, but I don't know what kinda doll it was. It was like every
No, Steven, I will not be Darth Vader for you.
grandma could probably tell you, but I can't remember what kinda doll it was. I just remember what it looked like. It was creepy looking.
I am not
Not
your
the Raggedy
mom,
Ann, was it?
Stephen Bull.
Was it
Yes.
Raggedy Ann? I don't think it was.
I
There
don't
was
think it
another
was, but
one. It was like it wasn't Cabbage Patch Kids, but it was
I was going to say
something
Cabbage Patch. Yeah.
it was something like that. Man,
Wow.
it's gonna bug me. I'll think of it later, though.
Was it the American Girl? That was a thing.
No, it was one that nobody I've ever heard anybody else ever having it, really.
Oh shit. Very good.
It was weird,
Steven.
but I guess I would have probably kept that as an adult just as a memento, so I guess I can see the action figures.
Steven asking me to be Darth.
Like I'm some kind of performing chimp for you, Stephen Bull. You will watch Coffee and Pods. It is your destiny. There you go, Stephen Bull. That's for you, Stephen Bull. I'm an impression horror for Stephen Bull. Let's see. Okay. Howdy, Kathy. Yeehaw. Hello, Mr. Stephen Bull. Boombastic says, if they're packaged, it's big money, Stormy.
I'll keep that in mind if I see a yard sale or something then this summer, because if I see a packaged one, I'll grab it.
That is true. I mean, there are levels, and but it's. I mean, some of it. I think maybe some of us are famous with the whole Disney thing. There's this whole Disney legend out there that some of those VHSs are rare from certain collections and stuff. But then I see other people saying that they're not really worth that much. Guess they're worth as much as you can get somebody to pay you for them, right?
Yeah, I guess if I buy it for a quarter and somebody wants to pay me even $25 for it, that's a win.
That's right. That's right. Boombastic Media says I'm one of those bozos. Yeah, one of those collectible. I thought you were, Matt, because we've done some stuff together, did a show, and I've seen some of the stuff that you collect, and I got a take on you, and that's why I said I don't want to judge. I like it. I collect my own kind of nostalgic stuff that
It just
kind of.
amazes me that I've never known people to do that until getting involved with this.
Yeah, I know. I think, like I said, I think in past generations, Stormy, if you were a grown ass man of 40 years old, I don't think too many people were going out in public going, you know what, I still got my WWE figures. You know, it wasn't something that people said with pride. It was, you would say it and hope people didn't judge you. But now there seems to be a little more matter of fact about, oh yeah, guys do that nowadays. But when I was younger, I don't think too many grown ass men would admit to,
No,
having
because I
that
like
kind
to
of stuff.
go yard selling and antique shopping and like all kinds of stuff like that. So whenever I see stuff, I mean, my eyes get drawn to like older stuff and, and I like to get some of that stuff, but I never thought about action figures and wrestling and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, pop culture goes deep with the toys and everything. It's amazing what these people collect. It's like comfort food. That's a neat comparison. You kind of collect it and it's around you. And
Yeah.
yes, I have certain handheld video games and things like that, and I pick them up every now and then. And yeah, it is great nostalgia. Clap, clap, clap. Says Stephen Bull. That's right. Yes, boom. Nostalgic purposes. Yeah, it's I don't know. There is something fun about that. And I told you last week was like retro day, right? And you're supposed to celebrate everything as retro. And I told you I kind of celebrate retro every day because I kind of mix it in with my life. I'll listen to old CDs. I'll go listen to an old cassette or an album, or I even pop a VHS tape in or something. I have myself set up to where I can still play a lot of the stuff I still have. So I just enjoy it every now and then.
Stephen Bull started his own Facebook group if anybody wanted to join that. He's
Yeah,
got
what's
a lot
that?
of
Bull's
cool
head.
stuff. Bull's head soup
Bull's
or
head
something.
soup. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
it is.
started, and people could join that, and he posts some really cool stuff in there.
Steven's happy with himself because he got me to do the impression.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hank? Mm-hmm. Yes, Hank. Stephen Bull is our friend, Hank. Let's see. Yard sales. Oh, yes, yard sales have great stuff. They do, Bobby Nick. And I collect like old Atari games. I was going back and getting into my old Atari system. And I have a lot of them, but they were selling hot on eBay. And for a while, the aftermarket for these old things is crazy. And people were going to yard sales and finding these houses being cleaned out and something and getting these sweet deals. Like we're definitely at a point in time where a lot of these guys that are, in their 40s and 50s are getting nostalgic and they're digging these things out of their attic. I'm on certain Facebook groups for video games and Atari, and every day I see a guy, I found this, my mother gave me that, I got this box of games. So it's a lot of it out there. So it's just whatever you're into. Let's see. I'm loving the comments here. We still got plenty of them to catch up on. I have quite a few horror collectibles. Yes, I know Bobby Nick he has his thing. So I know he likes a lot of AC/DC albums. I saw him. He just scored some good AC/DC albums a couple weeks ago. I saw him.
Thing of the past too, to actually have physical albums to have like in your hand.
Mm-hmm. It's different, and as I'm getting older, Stormy, I'm definitely more attached to the physical media because it's kind of going away. Not only that, but then if you ever like want a true version of an album, sometimes digitally you don't get all of the nuance and all the things that came along with it. So if you have the album, you have it in its purest form. No one edited it for sensitive commentary for whatever happens to be pissing off somebody that particular day. Same thing with movies. I like movies that are the first run movies. They weren't edited to condition things out of them to protect certain people's sensibilities. And I think once you do that, you're going to start watering down history, and then you're not going to know what you're watching. So that's one of the reasons I like.
It helps to have DVDs too when you have kids and your internet isn't working and you can't stream Hulu or something. Then you have to get a DVD out.
Hallelujah. My kids were definitely DVD kids. We had the one player in the van, and everywhere we went, even if we went up to the street to the store, they had to watch something for that 2 minutes or so. So
it helps in the car ride for sure.
Hell yeah. Stephen Bull says, I invested a piece of money into a vinyl VCR tapes and lost money on that. Yeah, if you're doing it as an investment, Stephen, I can see where if the market didn't go with you, bud, that could happen. So I just collect out of personal love for it, and you kind of maybe you hope if you're in a condition you want to sell some of that stuff, maybe it will have some value. But yeah, you are taking a risk. Like for a minute, I thought about buying up some of these Atari cartridges and like selling them for a little markup and all, but it's just the prices just got so out of hand, especially it happened a lot during COVID, during the pandemic. Let's see. I like some of these comments. We got some more. I love these comments. Let me catch up with you all.
We encourage you. We're not shaming you.
Yeah, they're talking to each other and us. Let's see. People not knowing what they're selling. Bless their hearts. That's right, Boom Bat. I've seen where the guy says, I got this whole box for $15, and he got like an Atari and all these boxes, dude. And I'm like, where can I find like some of these yard sales? I gotta get my feet out there a little more and grind it out a little, find these things. Let's see. But like vinyl, check it out. It's become a corporate business. Yeah. And people corporately, they're realizing that vinyl is hitting a little niche market again. And I notice a lot more vinyl being released when I go into the bookstores. And the vinyl that is out there is like $22 for an album, Scott. Can you believe that? $22 for like an album?
Wow.
No, I'm pissed off at myself for not having. Just yesterday, I was looking at an album I have outside, and I was going to put it in my little prop pile. Damn, I wish I got it out.
That's all right. You'll have it for a minute.
What album was it?
I have no idea. It's just some people from the 60s look like.
Yeah. And I wish my parents they had older albums too. I never kept them, but I wish I would have. Let's see. Boombastic. Vinyl sounds better and lasts longer. That's the whole thing. I don't know if you ever listened to Howard Stern, but he liked clowning on Gary Delabate because Gary Delabate, hey, both, it sounds better, both. It sounds more like the actual thing, both. It sounds good. Because he loved busting his balls about, like, why are you being prehistoric and going backwards? But there is a lot of people out there that like vinyl. And Howard just didn't like that he had a habit that didn't involve the Howard Stern show. But some
Mhm.
people do have that opinion about vinyl. I notice when I listen to things through Bluetooth, especially when I'm listening to blues, I understand because a lot of the low, the subtle guitar string things don't come through. And that's the limitation with digital, where
Mhm.
vinyl, all that little subtle stuff comes through. So that's one of the things that I prefer about
little
vinyl.
scrapes in the fingers when you hear the strings.
Very
Stuff you
good,
don't.
Scott. Right.
You start
Yep.
hearing the
The
nuances.
little, yep. The little hisses and the little character that was in the song, that does remain better, I have discovered, in vinyl. So that is one of the reasons I prefer vinyl. Let's see. Listen, though. Here we go. Tess says Atari came out with a replica that comes with all the games inside. Yeah, they've been trying to release that. It doesn't have the cartridges. My whole thing about that was I wish they would have done both, Tess. I wish they would have had like an internal hard drive thing like they do. But I also, there's a lot of these men that I described to you, or kids in general, or maybe some women that have their cartridges still, but they have no means of playing them because the hardware is outdated. It doesn't hook up to these new TVs very easily. I had to like hook mine up through like a cable thing or a separate, so it's not an
Adapt
easy
it.
thing. But if they would have sold a system that had those games and the ability to put those cartridges in, I think they would have done a lot better. That's just my gripe about that thing. I was considering buying that old Atari. Let's see. Stephen Bull, do you know how many times you got to get up listening to records? True, especially if you've been spoiled by all this digital audio and stuff, Stephen. But if you know your game right, you can also stack them right to where the next record will drop after one side plays. Right? You remember that trick, Scott?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
pick it up.
That-
I like it. You have to go for the microphone.
Just bringing back memories. I remember I got into music from my mom's. She had the 45s. I think that's what they call them, the little records.
Yes.
And she had the Elvis, Buddy Holly back in them days. But I remember you was able to stack them somehow or way. And I remember this thing you put, but it was able to, he was able to make a stack of
That's right.
records. I guess if he had the
Yeah,
right record player.
Just the built-in automation with the needle moving and all, they had it so that when the needle would come back, it would drop the next record kind of automatically, and the needle would go back on certain record players. So that's one way of doing it, Stephen Bull. If
And you can scratch it too.
scratch it, play it backwards, which you were never supposed to do. It's like you you were told you were going to go to hell and ruin
Change
your
the
record
speed.
player and everything. Yeah, change the speed, make it
Change the speed.
make it sound like everybody sound like Alvin and the Chipmunks, all that fun shit. Yeah, you can't do that shit.
Backmasking. Figure it out. Backmasking out.
The younger set ain't digging it. Yeah, well, there's a bit of a gap, Steven, in that if it's your parents' thing, they're not digging it. But going back to what Scott said, I was the last of 5 children in my family. So I had 4 older brothers and sisters, 2 of each, that were influencing like all my music and media taste and things like that. So like you said, you grew up with your mom's turntable and stuff. I grew up with whatever they were turned on to and into. If that's what was in my head, that's what was around, that's what I played with. So I do have some of those older kind of styles of music that I like because of that, because of the
Plus, whenever I used to buy that, it was I'd read every word in that album cover, the cassette cover. I gotta keep this back in my face. Every word, the thank yous, who was the engineer, and all the all the I miss those days when you buy that. That was just as important as the album to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I like to see who was like producing it, who guested on it, who was on the track. I'm listening to some Stevie Nicks now because she's coming around. So I've been listening to some old Stevie Nicks disc, and I was doing just what you said the other day, Scott. I was went in there and like actually reading the liner notes because I was curious about who did a song, who particularly wrote it. So I was doing that. So yeah, it can be fun having some old media. The shutdown hit us.
And then sometimes you read something you didn't expect. Some of the people know you was reading, and they put little clever jokes in there or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you get like certain posters and certain albums back in the day. You never knew what they were going to throw in there. You did too, but again, yeah. So Steven was seemed like he was involved with some vinyl.
Sounds like he's in deep.
Yeah, he says you shouldn't stack them.
Now, Boombastic Matt is saying $22 is actually cheap, sadly. Yeah, I mean, you're kind of right. $22 does seem to be like the new bottom nowadays, Matt. I have seen crazier prices on some exclusive reprint albums or double albums where they're in the $30 to $50. And yeah, I like vinyl, but I think I prefer, we have a used record shop in my neighborhood, and I prefer going there and just taking my chances. Or I'll buy things on eBay. I'll take my chances on a scratch or two for like a $5 OG over some of these $22 pieces of vinyl that they have going around right now. I paid $22 for those green beans. Scott rocked up his nose. Steven remembers you. Steven remembers you. Let's see.
Yeah.
Great. I got a lot of comments to catch up on, so let's get through some of these. That sounded like Darth Baba Boo. I mixed it up. Hello. Let's see. Hello, boss. Listening to vinyl is your destiny, boss. I don't know. I don't know if those two impressions were together, Steven, but thank you. Let's see. What do we have? Tess says thrift shop still selling vinyl far less than $10, and that's the place to get it. That's like I said, to me, eBay is like the online thrift shop, if you will, right? And some of those other ones I go on too. Those selling services, but are not coming to me now. So I picked up certain ones. I remember I got the Star Wars soundtrack. I got the original soundtrack. I found it for like $25. It's like a double album. Now I'll pay $25 for something like that. That's original, something I like and all, but it's like original pressing. It's not like a rethink. You rock the Commodore 64. Oh shit, bro. You are going back. You remember them too, Scott?
I don't remember that. I just remember my first game system was the Atari. I remember being a big family talk. We all had to talk and to get this Atari. I don't remember what a Commodore is. Was that before that?
The Commodore was the old PCs where you used to have to go up. They'd be in the store and you had to play like C semicolon / and give a command and all that shit. You really had to know computer language to run some of those early Commodore 64s. Yeah. But yeah, you talk about the Atari. My family ate up the Atari, Scott. Like the older ones played it, and I'm not busting on my sister saying she's an older one, but my sister's older than me. Like even my older siblings loved it. My sister, who's in the chat right now, she would play into the wee hours of night. She'd like kind of wait for all of us to go to bed, and you'd probably catch her on the Atari by herself a couple of nights. Same thing with my mother-in-law, Charlotte, God rest her soul. She was a video game person too, but they got into playing like the pinball and certain games. So yeah, we had the same thing, Scott, to where it was like I would take the Atari, like kind of different family events, and we would play Circus Atari or the bowling on there or certain games. It was a lot of fun back then for the family.
Asteroids.
Good old Asteroids. Can't beat that. Tess says, yo. Stacking is bad. Yeah, that was the negative about using that automatic system, Steven, is that you were laying those records like literally right on top of one another with any space in between them. But that's how we handled them back in the day, right? We didn't think about it. I was listening to an album the other day and it had so much hiss and pop in it. And I'm like, I remember thinking like, we never like batted an eye at this. We just accepted it as that's kind of came along with it. But a true vinyl file. Let's see. No stacking. Okay. No Steven. He said, shut your mouth. Right?
Stacking's a big deal, sounds like.
Yeah, no stacking. I guess that's a no. That's a no sin. I miss cleaning my pot on a Black Sabbath record. Reflects in the sky on you. You gotta get high. Let's see. Okay. That's for Steven. All right. What we got? I'd always read the special thanks to see what bands they're friendly with. Yeah, and then they would have like guest stars or something, or I would always hear like, I think I hear so-and-so singing background, or it sounds like so-and-so is playing guitar, and I would dig into the notes to find out if it was true or not.
Yeah.
I rebelled against what my mom and dad liked. I went with my brothers and what their friends like. Thanks, Bobby Nick. That's an interesting point to make, in that my take was when I was growing up, because I was forced to basically listen to my father's jazz music. My father had a rule that when you're in the car with him, you listen to what the hell he wanted to listen to, right? So because of that, I was exposed, maybe unwillingly at the time, to a lot of his music and all. And so I understood why he liked it, but I didn't appreciate it at the time. But as I've gotten older, it reminds me of my father and it makes me nostalgic. So I'm kind of happy that I kind of know his influences. And I like that it kind of rounded off my music experience, that I know where music came from because of it. But yes, at the time, I kind of rebelled on. I see you shaking your head, Storm. You have experience with like your parents not liking your music or whatever, or?
Yeah, I mean, Dad and I always had this like common interest in music, but mom, no, she didn't really. She always wanted to listen to like Patsy Cline and like all that, and I wasn't really into that.
Yeah,
So
that was kind of the wheelhouse that my father was in, Patsy Cline and jazz and things like that and all. But my wife, she took an opposite take. My wife, okay, go back. My father, you had to listen to jazz. My mother would let me listen to pop or what I ever listened to. So, but when it came to my wife, she would take him to school every day, and she would have the classic rock station on. So they absorbed the classic rock through that way. You know, I was the kind of the sucker. I let them put the pop station on Sirius or whatever. You know, I was that guy. But my wife was more like, it's only a short ride. You're going to listen to this. And now my children are exposed to, at least my younger daughter's exposed to some older music. We took her to see Steely Dan. That was her first concert because she knows Steely Dan from driving with my wife to school. So I told her, I said, she's kind of an old soul. I said, how many of your friends can ever say that Steely Dan was their first concert like ever? So,
that's funny.
but she's proud of it. She like wears it proudly. She likes being an old soul.
I think Bret Michaels was my first concert.
Really? Solo?
Yeah, that was a thing for me because Bret Michaels was my favorite rock guy back in the day, and I didn't push Poison or Bret Michaels on Stormy. She just went to it on her own, and it was just blew my mind.
Naturally, huh?
Yeah, I used to get teased in high school too. They'd be like, "Why do you like a girl that sings rock music?" And I'm like, "That's not a girl."
You know, Stormy, that was so funny back in those days is that we didn't even question the androgyny, the fact that they were just caking on the, you know, Kiss went for a kind of a cool thing with the makeup. Motley Crue was kind of cool, little femme, but more cool. But then like Poison and these other ones like Britney Fox and all, they just went like full out, just glam. You couldn't tell if they were chicks with dicks or whatever. I mean, you know what you were dealing with.
But I didn't see nothing wrong with it at the time, but now
that's what I'm getting at, Scott. Like, even like Boy George, and like, okay, it's a guy that called himself boy and dressed up like a woman, you know, but now it's commonplace. But back in those days, it was like, okay, he was just like the next guy up, I guess.
And I was listening to his older music. When I went to that concert, he was playing newer music and older music, and he doesn't look anything like he used to then when he's on stage. So it was like two different Bret Michaels.
Yeah, I just saw them recently. Was it last summer when they just did that tour with Def Leppard and
that's right.
Motley Crue? That was a lot of fun, and they were very good. He was still good. They sang good, had a lot of passion for their music and all. I really enjoyed seeing Bret Michaels and Poison there again. Let's see. Oh my god, you got so many comments on here. I got to go back some. Okay, that's the Rebel comment. Let's go back to here. Oh, I had the first Atari. Yeah, see, Stephen Bull knows what's up. That first Atari was the jam. That you could play some games at home that on a level you never could before. So let's see. My favorite game for Atari was Combat and Pitbull. Thank you, Combat. Yeah, with the tanks and all. That was one I spent many hours on for sure. Let's see what we got here. I'm loving the conversation. I had to clear and drag pastures all summer. Okay, so you didn't get too much of a video game time, huh? Guess you had to wait for the harvest to play your video games.
I never really played video games much.
No? Well, it's funny. I hate you hate to draw things on sexual lines, but it does seem that boys gravitated more to the games. I mean, there are some video game girls, but they're fewer and far between.
I don't think that I did very girly things either, though. I was always outside and like riding four-wheelers and
That's cool.
hiking and doing stuff like that.
That sounds even better. Stephen Bull says, no, I hear you, BF. I mean, it's not that big of a deal back then. Okay, that's a past comment. Let's see. All right. That sounded like Darth Ozzy. I, Stephen. I, indeed. Okay, let's see. You got me all over the place. You got me. Let's see.
That's funny.
All right. All aboard.
Michael Jackson was so controversial in my house. I remember getting up to the register at Walmart with my Thriller album, and my mom was just so scared that my dad was going to be so mad when it scared me. I wasn't able to buy a Michael Jackson Thriller.
You can't bring that home. Can't bring that to your father's house. I like what Stephen Bull here he's saying. Listening to Michael Jackson and saying, "What, Eddie Van Halen?" I know exactly what you mean, Stephen Bull, because we all did the same thing. Because that's an uncredited guitar solo. Like Beat It came out, and they get to the guitar solo, and I'm like, that's fucking Eddie Van Halen. I don't care what anybody says. That's Eddie Van Halen playing guitar on that. and it come out years later. You know that he is uncredited for that, Scott?
I didn't know he's uncredited, but maybe in the guitars like I was, I thought it was in my world. It's common knowledge in the guitar world, so I didn't know it was a secret of some sort.
Yeah, it was. My recollection was that it was just Michael Jackson's next song that came out, and back then you didn't have the internet sharing all the who was on the album with who kind of thing. I just listened to it, and I'm listening to that guitar solo, and I'm like, that's Eddie Van Halen. That's like nobody else but Eddie Van Halen. And it turns out the story that I heard behind that guitar solo being laid down is that he and Michael Jackson were somewhere. He agreed verbally to do it. He went into a room. He laid out that solo. It went on the record uncredited. And the legend I hear of the story that his management was quite unhappy with him. Maybe he's unhappy with himself now because I don't even think he got like a writing credit on it. He's not credited at all. But that's Eddie Van Halen on the guitar solo for Beat It. Yes, uncredited. He just kind of did that for Michael Jackson. That's at least the way I heard the story. He was a performer and sang those old songs. Let's see. I'm not sure who that meant. Let's see. I hear you, BF. I relate. Thank you, Steven. You relate real good on a lot of things. I don't know what that says about either one of us. Let's see. My mother got me into Korn in 1994. That's a rockin' mom right there. Korn. Oh no, that's not him. That's the wrong one. Let's see.
That was Disturbed.
Yeah, it's
I was
Disturbed.
about to say that.
I got my Korn and my Disturbed yell mixed up. Let's see. It's the that's my Korn. All right, got my Korn on. My parents, made me listen to everything and to respect it. I love them for that. I like that comment, Steven. And yeah, I don't think it was a game plan necessarily out of my parents. It was just that, hey, screw you, I'm listening to what I want. But yeah, as I got older, I'm happy that I had the influences that I did, even though I didn't care for the music at the time and I might have wanted to hear something else. I liked having like older brothers and sisters and older parents that rounded my musical knowledge off. I really did like that. So let's see. These are great comments in here, and I'm not even close to finishing them. I grew up with her always playing Earth, Wind, and Fire. Ah, do you remember? Yes, there you go. Earth, Wind, and Fire. See, he got that soul in him. Your parents and your family just gives you that soul. That's good. I love Earth, Wind, and Fire. That's great. Let's see. You have an awesome mom at Brian Clouder. There you go. That's right. Let's go. Go see Korn, Mom. Let's see. Chicks with dicks playing at my prom. Don't need nothing but a penis. How can I? Let's see. Stephen Bull. Let's see. He says, I graduated in jail, though. Oh, shit, Stephen. Boy.
At least you graduated.
Yes, I did. There you go. Good point, Story. All right. What we got here? Brett sure is pretty. You all got pretty man there, Brett, man. I'll tell you what, boy. You sure is pretty. I bet he been propositioned from behind more than a few times. In the front. Let's see. Oh shit! Oh, now this I know this to be true because we covered this. We talked about this. This is not a false statement. Bobby Nick has said this before, and I can't believe he's saying it again. But bring it, brother. I masturbated. Oh no, I masturbated in public. I was looking for something else. To Poison's first album cover for 3 months until I found out they were men. After that, I continued to masturbate for about another 3 months.
That's what you call owning your skeletons and being transparent right there.
Woo. That is, I can assure you that, well, it's a true story as far as I know it, because Bobby Nick has told that story word for word to us. He admitted a little too proudly that he thought that they were women for 3 months. And that was great. And that was a great way to finish up that joke, because he did it the same way with us. He goes, but that ain't nothing, because even when I found out, I masturbated 3 months afterwards.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Thank you, not only for divulging that the first time, Bobby Nick, but thank you for divulging that today in our conversation. That is, see, you can't write that shit. You can't make that up. No. You can't steel toe that shit. That's real shit right down. Slash put down tracks for Michael too. Yeah, I know that they had a relationship near the end of his life too. He he loved great guitar players. Now you're gonna Stevie Ray put down, yes, Let's Dance. He was the original studio musician for David Bowie's album, and he asked him to go out and do that tour with him, the Under the Moonlight tour, I think. And because he was starting his own career, I think he did his own thing. And so that's a good story. Great backstories, people. I love that everybody kind of loves and knows and shares the same things about music. I love Stevie Ray Vaughan. I have multiple Stevie Ray Vaughan albums. I got a live DVD that I throw in every now and then. I love it. There's a great Stevie Ray Vaughan and Albert King. If you go out on the internet, go to YouTube, Stevie Ray Vaughan and Albert King. They just sit in a studio and just play blues music for like an hour and a half. I highly recommend it if you like that kind of music. It's a lot of fun. Let's see. He is dead. Yeah, that could be a lot of people we're talking about. Let's see. Yep. What was that joke? Sam Kennison had a joke on Stevie Ray Vaughan dead, and we can't get Bon Jovi on a helicopter. What's going on? What's Let's see. The reason really was because of Quincy Jones. Yeah, Quincy Jones. You were Quincy Jones. Yes, Quincy Jones, a prolific performer and album producer himself. Yeah, they were hand in hand in making Michael Jackson successful back then. I heard Macaulay Culkin play the skin flute on Black and White. Stay still. Stay still. Let me see. I think that's it says QJ. It should be OJ representing Eddie. I see a van and he is scared. I see OJ. He's hiding and he is scared. He is scared. I see. Hey, did anybody see the Chris Rock comedy special over the weekend?
I
on
didn't.
Netflix?
Mm-mm.
He filmed it in Baltimore, and he talks about OJ murder. He talks about a lot of stuff. I watched it. If you have Netflix or if you have a chance to watch it, I would watch it. It's pretty good. He that was actually filmed here where I live in Baltimore. Filmed it live. I watched it the day after he filmed it. I really enjoyed it. I like Chris Rock. He addresses the Will Smith thing, the slap. Oh my God!
I seen a clip about it. I didn't watch it yet though. Yeah, I remember seeing that clip.
It's hysterical. He carries on and on about this one called him a bitch. Hollywood called him a bitch. They called his wife a bitch. I mean, yeah, he just laid it on fucking thick. So if you haven't seen that, I highly recommend it. Stephen Bull loves and appreciates your story. Thank you, Bobby Nick. Stephen Bull, he's told it twice. So if it's a lie, it's a good lie. He told twice, but that's a true story. Do you have any pictures of that, Bobby Nick?
I hope not.
Yeah. I don't want either. I don't want the pictures you did it to or pictures of you doing it. I don't want none of that shit. And Stephen, you're blind anyway, so what the fuck you want it for?
Yeah.
Let's see. You gonna feel him? What's wrong with you? Let's see. Oh, hell yeah, brother. Texan. Oh, hell yeah. Talking about that, what do you think about Aaron's little impressions there? He got all that. That's a WWE thing with the what?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a stolen bit right there.
It wasn't original.
It wasn't. I
And
mean,
the people though, I was amazed those people were responding to him like that though.
you know
But
why?
it's
Because
his hometown though.
people are suckers for that what. Like
Mhm.
you yell that what? I mean, I'll start going in on you. And I don't even give a fuck what you're talking about.
Maybe
People,
because
"What?
I'm not that
What?"
familiar with wrestling and all the background with it. Maybe that's the
Right. Yeah, it
why I'm
it
amazed.
started out being a mocking thing where these guys were cutting promos on the mic, and then people would be like, "What?" Like trying to cut them off.
Yeah.
What? And then certain wrestlers kind of turned it around and made it a thing. Let's see. I do not Stephen.
What?
Have the picture. What? That's right. What? I love that joke. Let's see. All right. Catching up to the comments here. Eddie Van. Did you write Haley? Is that what you wrote? Eddie Van, what is that? I hope that's a typo. Eddie Van
Haley?
Haley. Eddie Van Haleyberry? I don't know. No, Quincy managed Eddie for a few years, did he? I can't say that I'm familiar with that fact. They actually managed him. So that's probably the connection. Good for Rock. Yeah, Steven, if you haven't watched that or listened, you should catch that out, dude. You'll like it. Dang, y'all caught me. Let's see. What tests? And what we got? What? Nick the Brown Fingered Man. That's right. Nick the Brown Fingered Man. All right. Well, we're all caught up on all these comments. I got to say that this was a lot of fun today, not only just doing the show, but I certainly didn't expect this flurry of comments afterwards. I'm really glad that everybody's enjoying the show and the topics that we are talking about.
Yeah. And even if you converse with each other in the chat, we still appreciate it.
We allow that. It's okay here. On Coffee, we encourage talking. We like birds. We like birds. We've established we like birds on our shows. And we like chatters that chat to each other. He says he's going to. You'll like it, man. It's good. Watch. I love you three. Well, thank you, Steven.
Yeah.
I'll give you a full homo kiss right there. Let's see. Full homo right there. And we're gonna say it's on Netflix, Bob ? Yes, it's on Netflix, Bob ? Yep. Go to Netflix, Chris Rock, and there it'll be. It was good. You'll enjoy it. And yeah, for her, she'll kind of like it because my sister just went to that theater for the first time and saw a musical with my family. So she'll recognize that theater from just going there. So that's cool. Thank you. I like Jello. Not really. Steven, our dude. We love seeing you in our chats and having fun and supporting us, and also on the Facebook podcast group. But so we don't stay here today. I think we got to pull this train in the station at some point because Stormy's got to pick up her kids from school at some point or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
We have lives to get to. But once again, I want to thank her for producing that package. I
You're
want to
welcome.
thank Scott for being here and hanging out and providing his perspective. That's always fun. And I really want to thank everybody in the chat that watched today because I really enjoyed. I mean, we stretched the show, just did a segment for a half hour or more just on that chat on just what we were talking about. So I'm really pleased at that. It really lets me know that you're really happy with what we're talking about and engaged. And so please come back every week. As I cue my music up here. And we say our little goodbyes. Please come back every week, every Monday at 12 noon. And we'll meet again like this. We'll talk about things that interest us, our podcast. We'll talk about our friends and whatnot and our life in general. And we look forward to gathering with you every Monday here at 12 noon. So until next week, for Scott for joining us and for my co-host Stormy, I would like to say I'm your man, BF Bobby Fran. And we hope you enjoyed episode 10 of Coffee and Pods. And we'll see you next week. And if we don't, we'll see you the next time we see you. Peace and love. And we are out. Bye, everybody.
Wow.
Thank you.